All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Market Prep. I hope you guys are having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had an incredible weekend. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I am doing great. Having one of these great mornings where the weather is wonderful today. I'm feeling good. I think when you're in that pre-vacation mode, when you're like, "Oh my
Yes,
God, it's real. It's coming up."
it's
And we
happening.
started packing this weekend. I have some friends that happen to be in France at the same time we're going. I drove them to the airport yesterday. Mike is already out in London doing his European tour, and I'm going to be meeting him in the south of France. So I'm excited, man. I'm feeling good. Hopefully, the
Yeah, man.
trading day keeps me feeling good.
Absolutely, man. I love it. I love it. We might actually see some trades from you this morning. You might be overly excited. We got to be careful. I don't want you
Maybe.
over trading.
Yeah,
But
that would be
love it,
something.
man. Yeah, it'll be something. Glad to hear that. Friends, let's get right to it. Quick look at our gappers list this morning as we get this week started. A lot in the green right now. So markets are pretty much flat, but you can see here some stuff doing actually very well. 40%, 28%, 10% up this morning. We'll see how well they actually look for our day trading style. So nothing on the red as of right now. But yeah, looking slightly green today, Peter.
Yeah, it was. There was a couple of red things earlier, but they seem to have disappeared. So a quiet day though on the economic front. Nothing on the economic calendar. Like completely empty. There's nothing happening really in North America. A couple of earnings that happened this morning, but nothing major. If we go and check the tradingterminal.com calendar for today, I'm not sure if you have it there. I do. I can. Here we go. We can see that we got a good week coming up. So lots of stuff happening this week that we have to look forward to. Not so much this morning or after the close today, but later in the week, we got all sorts of things from tech companies to retailers to industrials to a bunch of stuff. So it'll actually be a very interesting week all the way through to Thursday when we have Apple and Amazon report Thursday after the close. So yeah, should be a good busy week. But we're starting fairly slow, so we'll get there.
It's actually starting pretty slow this morning, and we'll see. We had a couple of mornings like this last week, towards the beginning of last week, that turned out pretty good. So we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
All right, friends, let's take a look at this gappers list again. Brought to you by
Cool.
Trading. Go ahead, Peter. You say
I
you were
just,
saying?
Thor's just sort of joking about and where's his invite to France. You guys are always invited. If there's anybody in Biarritz or in the area, Mike and I are going to be there from Thursday to Tuesday of Thursday this week to Tuesday of next week, and then in Paris from Tuesday through to Saturday. So I don't know. I mean, if anybody's out there in those areas and wants to meet up, we'd be happy to. We always love meeting people wherever we go. So you just let me know. You can email me, text me in the chat room. We'll figure something out. Or you can stand at the finish line on Sunday morning, and hopefully it's morning. If we're lucky, it's morning. I don't know. This marathon
Yeah.
starts at 7 a.m. That's sort of the purpose we're going down there. And
Nah, should be morning for you still.
5 hours. I'm hoping I'm done in 5 hours. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no
Yeah.
idea. I've never run one. I have no idea how long it's going to take. It's going to take as long as it takes.
That's
I
it.
might
That's
walk
it.
half the way. I don't know.
Oh man, this is good. All right, friends, let's get to it. Let's take a look at our gappers list this morning. We are heavy in the green, as you can see here. Let's start with the first one, PRGT. PRTG is the one. This is up 45% right now. Again, really crushing it at this moment. So looking pretty good. Peter, 45%, 4.5 million shares traded. The float on this under a million, it seems like. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, it's Monday. Usually Mondays bring a whole slate of biotechs, and this is a biotech. Portage Biotech. Never heard of them. It is a low float. I mean, a very low float. I'm seeing only 160,000 shares in the float. This has only got a $9 million market cap, or at least it did. It's higher now that their stock is up 45%. But they did have news. Apparently, they had very positive trial results. This is typically what we get in these, and they say the supports in mesothelioma. Wait, wasn't that one of those towns that collapsed under a volcano? Oh no, That's Mesopotamia. Never mind. Anyways, it's mesothelioma trial, human trial went well. Yay! Look, if you like a low float, it doesn't look that bad actually today. It's got the volume. We've got almost 4.5 million shares traded. It's definitely trading the volume. What I don't like is how flat it's been. Like it had this big pop up early this morning around 6 a.m. and then it's been pretty flat for really the last I don't know 2 hours or so. So it's gotta pick it up, man. It's got to get busy. The 1 minute chart looks good when you zoom in. If you zoom out a little bit or look at a 5 minute, you can see it's not as aggressive as it might otherwise look. So yeah, just be careful.
Yeah, yeah, hard to borrow on this thing. You can't short it either, so that's not good. Again, doesn't fit my criteria. I love the volume, I love the gap up, but it's just not gonna make it, at least for me. All right, friends, let's take a look at what else we have here. Next is going to be MLGO. We've seen this one plenty of times on our list. This morning they are gapping up 27%, 3.7 million shares traded. So very active, Peter, as we are seeing here. What's the news? I mean, this thing, it's no stranger to us. Look at the daily. We had a big push in starting March into April all the way to 34. Since then, back down to $6, and now we're trying to get something going this morning, looks like.
This company, man. So they keep popping up. Hey, look, it's been a good trading at times. So there's definitely opportunities in it. Today, I don't know. They had a press release that they've developed. Their just rolls off the tongue. The CBQOA, which is their classical boosted quantum optimization algorithm, which is notable because it includes heuristic algorithms like the quantum approximate optimation algorithm, of course, as everybody calls it, the QAOA, and the variable quantum eigensolver, which is the VQA. Guys, like, I can't make this stuff up. I don't even know what I just said. It doesn't matter. They've got some crazy algorithms that they made. I love how we're like, it's classical boosted. Why is it called that? Because it combines the search capabilities of classical computing with the parallel computing characteristics of quantum computing. What I love about this entire statement is the computing that everybody uses right now. This quantum company is trying to call it classical computing. Isn't that brilliant? Right? They're taking
That's
what we do
beautiful. Yeah,
today and they're pretending it's like old timey. They're calling it classical.
love it.
So instead of like current or modern computing, it's now classical in their nomenclature. And of course, quantum is what we should be doing or the future. To me, I think it's brilliant. Anyways, look, what does it mean? Not much, really. They're just making stuff up. They're seeing what sticks. Good for them. Let's trade the heck out of them if we can make money off it.
Yeah, yeah, agree. Let's take advantage. MLGO, how I was going to trade, I don't know. I like the volume. I like everything on it. I am going to put in a secondary. Again, we'll see where it goes. MLGO on the secondary list today. Normally not something I look at, but it does look interesting active today, right? So MLGO, we'll put on deck here. It is a low flow, 8.1 million. So again, just be mindful and careful of that. Looking at my list here, we do have another one that's gapping up pretty. That just kind of made the list, made its way up there. Is CGON. So CGON, OG Oncology. I think we've seen this before.
Algon?
Yeah, Ogon or
Calgon, take me away.
yeah.
No, this is
No, this is something else.
CG
But
Oncology, another
yeah,
biotech.
yeah, up 40%. Peter, not a whole lot of volume. It doesn't really look good. But what's going on? Maybe a drug approval or something just popped up on the list.
Really? Okay. All right. Let me give this a try.
Go ahead, you got it.
CG Oncology announces their best. I love the terms these companies make up. All right. The best in disease durability data. What the best in disease? Anyways, all right. Their best in disease durability data in their Bond 03 cohort C and promising early signal in cohort P. Are you ready for this, everybody? For their crestostimogene genadenovec. What the hell did I just say? At the American Urological Association annual meeting. It doesn't matter. They have a trial that's going well. They think it's special. That's why it popped up.
I see it here, man. It's okay. I don't like it. Won't be on my list, Peter. Not sure about yours, but yeah, no, 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 thank you.
Tongue twisters this morning. What the heck?
Yeah, tell me about it. Let's keep going here. Let's see what else we got. We got a
Yeah.
AUR, yeah, AUR Aurora Innovations, and these guys are up 9.4, 861,000, and man, we need like not a garbage truck, we need a garbage trailer. I mean, this is just bad, Peter. So
You
so
know
far
what?
nothing good. What do you think about this? So I mean,
Thi-
wow.
This is a self-driving car stock. Apparently, I don't. They make automated technology for self-driving cars. I think Elon in the dumpster is maybe a good one for
Oh,
this.
I like
No,
where you're going with this.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
self-driving
no,
car
no. Bring
thing.
it right in here.
There
Yeah,
you go. There he
there it
goes. Hey,
is.
buddy, wave. Where's the wave?
Yeah, he's. Oh, there's no wave on
Oh,
this one, I think. But he
oh
does.
no.
Oh, there. Oh,
There,
there you go. He put
oh,
his
there you
hands
go.
up.
Oh, there you go.
Ah, electrifying.
All
Yes,
right. Anyways,
electrifying.
yeah, I this Aurora innovation, it just popped up as you mentioned. It wasn't on our list a little while ago. Never heard of it. I don't think we've ever traded it before. The volume is too low, really, to be interesting. So,
Yeah, man.
not
Brutal. All
Elon
right.
hater. We just put Elon up there. We're just using him because it's a self-driving car stock.
No, we love Elon, man.
He's our meme.
Elon. Yeah, he's hurt. That meme was before his politics, right? So don't tie it to politics. That meme was way before that.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that's a garbage. So far, friends, nothing but garbage this morning on the list. Let's take a look at the next one on here. Is going to be PONY. It's just not good. PONY, another one, up 6%, 762,000. Also, is it a low flow? So actually, this is a higher flow, 265 million.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, Pony AI. Oh, we spoke about this company before, Peter.
We did.
Anything new
We had
today?
them last week. It's a Chinese AI company. Look, it's a Monday morning, right? So we get the biotechs and we get some of the technologies, companies that pop up as they made some announcements. We already heard from a quantum stock. This is an AI stock. Um, I don't really see. There's some business news on them. They're actually cutting costs and says that puts them on a better track to profits. I don't. I don't. I mean, apparently this is a China. This robotaxis. Chinese robotaxis is what Pony AI does. And I don't exactly know what part of the robotaxi ecosystem. I think they actually manage a fleet of vehicles as well as develop some of the technology. Um, but I'm not positive about that. They're unfortunately all of their website and marketing information is in Chinese, and I can't read it. So,
Oh,
but anyways, like we've seen it on the list, as you can see how it popped up a couple of days last week. I never did end up trading it or spent a lot of time watching it, frankly. The volume wasn't bad. Like the volume ramped up to almost 30, what is it, 39 million shares on Friday. So, if it can keep that type of volume, it might be okay. It's starting slow though. We only have 760,000 shares traded this morning. That's got to pick up for me to be interested. By the time the opening bell rings, I'm going to need to see about twice that, 1.5 million shares, or I'm not going to spend any time watching.
yeah, yeah. I agree, man. I don't like it. Wow, nothing off this gappers list besides MLGO, and even that one is a low flow that I expect to bump off if something else better comes along. But so far, nothing. Let's look at HIMS. HIMS this morning. This one is an actual company. We're up 4.1 this morning, 740%. An actual company that we actually know what their products do and can read their website. They're up 4% this morning, 740. Peter, I like the daily. Possible breakout here. Hopefully they got some good news that can get these guys moving, but they're not a great trader. Usually the few times they've been in play, other stocks have looked way better. But what's going on with them today, Peter? Daily looks interesting.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we don't have NVO on the list, and they're
Mm-hmm.
actually gapping down. That's weird. Okay. All right.
Yeah, slightly, yeah.
I'm not sure what's moving HIMS, to be honest. Like the news I saw out of this industry, so these guys normally move Novo Nordisk and HIMS because they do other things, but right now it's all about their diabetes drugs, which we all know are used for weight loss these days. Basically, it's all the Ozempic wannabes. And they usually, it's usually news about that hits that makes these stocks move. Um, there was news that came out Friday that was it Thursday? It was Thursday or Friday, anyways. That Novo Nordisk had won a case to keep some of the knockoff versions of their Ozempic off of shelves in the U.S. at least, which would protect their their patent rights and their ability to sell their drug over others, which are usually cheaper, right? All the knockoffs usually come out and they're a lot cheaper. So the fact that they won that restraining case to keep them off the shelves in the US was good news for them. It can also be good news for Hims because they also have their own independent version. That being said, their version was the one that was causing some problems that they were selling off and getting out of. So I don't know why this is jumping up today. Maybe it's just because they're out of that business and that's good news. I'm not sure. I don't see any specific news on Hims this morning. So
Yeah, we're talking here in chat with our YouTube friends. Thank you for joining us this morning, guys. They have earnings coming up end of this week, so it could be some of that. But again, we don't really see
actually,
anything. Yeah.
I do see that there is another big investor that's taking a position with about 1.5 million shares. This is VTMSX, which is a Vanguard small cap. So actually, Vanguard is Vanguard is a pretty well-known investment firm. So I guess that's good news that they're taking position. It's not a huge position, it's really 1.3 million shares. So it's good, but not earth-shattering for them. So.
Yeah. Gotcha.
That's all I got.
All right. I like the daily though. I do like that. Volume is okay. What do you think, Peter? Secondary list for now?
I don't know. I've watched this many a time, and I
Yeah.
don't like. For some reason, I just don't like the way it moves. The
Yeah.
trading is too spotty for me. You have to have a really motivated day for it to really move consistently, and I usually just end up ignoring it and moving on to other things. Its average daily volume is only 20 million shares, and it goes between like, I don't know, about 6 or 7 million up to about 40 million depending on the day. But again, that's just on the edge of the type of volume that I like for it to give me the consistent moves I'm looking for. So I don't have faith that today's going to be one of those days.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the fence on it. I put in a secondary just to make sure I look at it again. It might hop off for that, but just to remind me to take a quick look at it before we completely slice it here. All right, back to our trading terminals gappers list. We're getting a little bit more stocks towards the bottom here. Maybe some stuff that might be looking good in a second here. SWTX is SWTX. That's a little better. What are we looking at here? This is 5.5 million, up 3.2. Springworks Therapeutics, Peter, is the company that we're looking at here. Again, these therapeutics company, not really great. I'm not sure I'm going to have this on my list. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, and this is a buyout. So usually buyouts don't trade well. I'm surprised it's moving as robustly as it is. Normally, it just goes up to a level and then stays there. Especially being that, and this is great news. They're being bought out by Merck, which is one of the huge, mega companies in the biotech industry. It's a $3.9 billion deal where they're buying them in all cash at $47 a share. So you would expect the price basically to go up. It's not going to exceed $47, right? Because the market's not going to pay more than the buyout is valued at. So this is probably at a level right now at the 46 and change that it's just going to sit at. So not a trading opportunity.
Yeah, I don't like it here. All right, I think we're getting to some good stuff now. Let's take a look at QBTS. Just made its way up here. I have Hood also poking his head in here. QBTS this morning, we're up 2.3, 870,000. Again, their daily does look interesting. Possible breakout to get going here. Our pre-market action, not so pretty besides the volume. That's all that looks really interesting. Everything else is really more on the daily, if anything. And then we also have Hood. So Hood is also on here as well. Again, 2.2, 937,000 shares. So again, a little bit of some quantum action in our gappers list this morning, Peter.
I'm just reading the news here again. It makes me laugh because I love, especially when you get into the social media stuff on it. I got to, their stuff looks cool. I got to give them that. I mean, this is their This is their quantum computing chip called Advantage 2 that they're producing. Let me put this on the screen here. I mean, I don't know where you put that and how you plug that thing in, but it looks cool. I don't know if you've got, yeah, look at that.
What's that?
That's their chip. That's their Advantage 2. Anyways,
From
their
afar, I
their
thought it
news.
was a watch or something. I'm like, is that a
No,
new
that's just a chip, but it's a lot
Richard
of
Mille? What's
weird
going
cables,
on?
right? Compared to a chip, which is normally silicone based, no, silicon, not silicone. That's a whole
Yeah.
different thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, these quantum computing chips are different, right, in terms of how they're structured and the engineering behind them. D-Wave released a press release over the weekend that basically said, "We run quantum computing. We dominate the industry, and we're in charge. The industry will follow where we lead," which is a great thing to self-proclaim. But of course, you can just wait. Everyone's going to refute that, I imagine. So, look, quantum computing is one of those things like we were talking about it a minute ago. They're making up new terms. I love that. What was the quantum company that we were just looking at that they said classical computing. To me, that's such a great term, man. It's like saying, "Oh, isn't that quaint? You're using all that classical computing. You should get with the program and do some quantum stuff, even if you can't buy it." In any event, so yeah, look, whether you like QBTS, QUBT, we know Rigetti, IonQ, these are all companies sort of in that roughly quantum and AI type space. Pick whichever one you like to trade. I don't, I don't, I sort of keep them on my list. I only pop them on whenever they're really moving, and that hasn't happened in a few weeks. Again, the volume this morning, it's decent, but not enough for me to say absolutely this is hitting my target list for today.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, does it look better than everything else we have on this list? Yes, but you're right. I want to leave some room for usual suspects. I mean, it's just not a great list this morning. We'll find stuff to trade, but it's not a blockbuster list,
Yeah.
right? So, all right, let's stop here, Peter. Anything you like that might not be on this list before we get to? Actually, that's pretty much it because there's nothing on the gap down list. So, tell me anything you like that's either gapping up or down, and then we'll get to our friends over on YouTube and chat.
Yeah, again, I won't qualify these as things I like, but I'll just mention. So, it is earnings season. We're back into the thick of it. Monday mornings are usually fairly light. There are a number of companies that have earnings this morning. The only two I wanted to mention are MGM. We'll start there. MGM Resorts, just because they're gapping up this morning, but on very low volume. They have. I haven't seen their full earnings report, so maybe it's not out yet, but they are expected anyways to exceed their numbers because they've bet heavily on online betting and e-betting. And I mean, I've been watching hockey playoffs here, and I gotta say the MGM commercials are everywhere. Now there's always the betting ads, right? All the local companies, but MGM is the one they're advertising a lot on, and maybe this is because they're more of a traditional company. They're advertising through a lot of traditional sources like the old-fashioned TV. But anyways, I just see their ads all over the place. But it's expected to be paying off as they report their earnings. So tough to trade, though. MGM can be tough to trade. So I don't really expect great things. It is a nicey stock like these. You got to wait for the volume. I might watch it just out of interest, but probably the quantum might even be better than this. The only other one I wanted to mention was Domino's Pizza. Domino's Pizza reported earnings earlier this morning. DPZ, for my American friends, DPZ for the rest of the world, reported, and a mixed picture. They more or less hit revenue. They just missed it by $10 million. So close enough. And they overachieved on earnings. They delivered $4.33, which is about 19 cents over their forecast. So okay news. Domino's Pizza gapping down slightly this morning on low volume. Again, not a great trader. Those are the only two that I were tracking. Other than that, I'm keeping an eye on all our usual suspects. We got a little bit of a mixed picture. The semiconductor sector largely is down this morning, but not by much. about 1%, which is in the normal range of movement, 0.5% to 1%. Nvidia's down 1.1%. AMD's down 0.5%. SMCI happens to be up by 0.4%. So pick whichever one you like. They're usually in play, but it's fairly quiet, so they're moving in their slow way pre-market. Tesla, no news in Tesla over the weekend, so quiet weekend might mean for some decent trading action actually once the opening bell rings. And of course, there's all the rest of the Magnificent Seven stocks that you can watch if you want. One that I found interesting, gapping down, although not by much, is in Netflix this morning. I only mentioned Netflix specifically because it ended the week very strong last week, right? It was up and up and up. And it's sort of leveled out on Friday. It really sort of had a very quiet day on Friday compared to the rest of the week. You can see there on that candle. So I'm thinking that it's just poised to do something, right? It has lots of room to drop if it falls out of favor this week. It's also got room to rise up to new. I think this is all-time high, isn't it? Yeah, I mean it's got to. So it can absolutely go higher if it wants to, because we're in uncharted territory here. We're almost at $1,100 a share, sitting right now at $10.99. And it did hit over 1,100 pre-market. So yeah, it's just, I like things at all-time highs. They just create trading opportunities. So you might want to keep that in mind if you also like things at all-time highs. Carlos, that's pretty much all I got though. Again, you watch what you want. It's a quiet day news-wise, which means you sort of want to watch stuff that moves without news catalysts, which are the stuff we typically go back to. Magnificent Seven, semiconductor stocks, heck, even quantum if you like them. But yeah, those are my picks.
All right, you got it, man. Netflix does look interesting. I'm gonna add that to the list. This looks very, very good after such a big day on Friday. I mean, look at that. So yeah, we'll put it on the list here. I'm gonna put it on my main list this morning. Here is Netflix. Not the easiest stock to trade, but it's looking good this morning. All right, friends, let's go to you guys. What do you guys like this morning? Again, not a whole lot coming off our gappers list here today. Let's go over to you guys and see what's on deck. Netflix is good. Does it have a leverage? I don't know if they have. They should have another. If you want to trade it, maybe at a more lower price. I would think Netflix would be a company that has like an ETF or something that follows it. So if anybody knows, I don't know it by memory, but if anybody knows, throw it out there for others. Here it is, Brett over on YouTube. NFXL. NFXL. So there it is. Here's the same, $50. So daily, what's the leverage on this one? 2 times. So there it is. There it is. So you can look at this one. Thanks for sharing that, Brett. Appreciate that. All right.
There you go. And yeah, I just found the same one. NFXL, and NFXS if you want the short. And it's a 2-time leveraged. Oh, 2-time leveraged on the bull side. Actually, not leveraged on the bear side. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
What you could do is there's a couple of these companies, right? This is one that runs this one. This is the Direction, if I'm saying that correctly. Mm-hmm. If you go to just Google them, go to their website, and you can see all the ones that they host. There's some other ones too that host different ones, but like Nvidia, for example. What is the Nvidia one we usually trade, Peter? Is NVDL, if I get that right. It's NVDL. NVDL.
I think so. Yeah. I don't
Here's another company. So. Granite Shares. You could look them up. You can see all the stuff that they host as well. So you just look, when you see that name, look up the company or the broker or the bank. I don't know what they specifically fall under, and you can see all the stuff that they host as well. All right, let's take a look. I saw some stuff on here. I saw someone mention Rocket Lab, our but good buddy Chris MC over here in chat. Rocket Lab, RKLB. Let's see here, RKLB. I see some action on it. We're up 2.3, 319,000. So we're seeing a little bit of activity this morning. Nothing over the top. But again, it is up 2.3 with 319,000 over there. So that's Rocket Lab. All right, let's see.
Rocket Labs. What? I didn't see Rocket. There was an announcement over the weekend about in this space where there was a bunch of contracts, about $13 billion worth of space contracts. Anyways, announced by the National Security Space Launch Program, basically the U.S. government's space program, and they issued about $13 billion worth of contracts. It's part of their large joint contracting system. And the big winner was actually SpaceX, which unfortunately we can't trade. But is that surprising? Why did SpaceX get the majority of the contracts over Boeing and Lockheed and others? Yeah. Anyways, I mean, could be they've got the best technology. Could be that they're best positioned for it. Could be somebody put their finger on the scale. I have no idea. But having done government contracting, I know everything is possible. So, anyways, there's news out there. Rocket Labs might just be a sympathy move because of all of these the money being handed out.
Yeah, I agree. Well, at least we know they could land their rockets properly. I mean that they could do that and bring people back from space, Peter, because Boeing will take you there, but they ain't gonna bring you back. So
that's true.
I don't know. I knew
true.
it. When I saw that, I'm like, if you just did that, if you just left some astronauts stuck there for a couple of months, they're supposed to be like 3 weeks, you should not get this contract. You screwed up. No way. That's unacceptable, man.
You can't deny SpaceX. I mean, they came in and rescued those people that got stranded, right? So, and like they've had great results. I mean, they've blown up a ton of rockets, but that's part of their testing
part of the
process.
So,
you can't argue that they haven't had good results out there. So, again, I'm not saying it's not deserved. It's I have no idea. I don't know the space, but they certainly. I mean, at this point, frankly, if I had to go up in a rocket into space, I'd probably be picking a SpaceX rocket, I think. But I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting stuff, man. Hans says space is fake. There's a lot of theories out there that believe space is fake. And some of these strips. One more thing. We got time. I mean, there's nothing on here to watch. We'll get back to the Gappers list in just a second. What's the deal? What's the deal with the door with not Elon, the other guy, Jeff? What's the deal with that? With the door? It's like a big thing about the door. Is there something there, or it's just Peter? What's your thoughts?
I don't think so. I really don't know. But yes, the whole debate was the fact that the door opened from the inside. They opened the door and then they closed it again. And then Bezos showed up and did the grand opening for the photo shoot, is what the chatter was. So they said, well, the whole thing was faked because the door, you shouldn't be able to open the door from the inside. Now, there's been all sorts of people refuting that for safety measures. They do have the ability to open the door for the inside and the outside. And no, they haven't released any information about why the door was opened and then closed again. Maybe it was there could be a whole myriad of reasons. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't think the thing was faked. It was a real mission. It went up and did the thing. Now, Jared said he would probably take Blue Origin. Now, see, the problem is, Jared, now we get into a whole debate of what is space. When we said go into space, there's that debate too, right? When are you actually in space and when are you just in the upper atmosphere? Blue Origin, to my mind, has never gotten into space, but they're just gone into the upper atmosphere and then played around in zero grav for a few seconds. But anyway, never mind. Parabolic curves. Anyways, look, we can get into a whole debate over that. So I don't look. I just find it fascinating to watch. I don't really have a strong opinion on this one way or the other. The fact that they had a PR based space flight, who cares? Yeah. Let them do whatever they want, man. It's Bezos. He's got the billions of dollars. Let him spend it however he wants. Yeah. If he wants to send celebrities into space, then all power to him. As long as he keeps making the Wheel of Time series, because I'm invested in that now, and I love the books. I want to see how they finish the show. That's one of his projects. If you're listening out there, Jeff, just keep spending on that. It's a great show. I like what you're doing. It isn't the books. I've sort of got my head around that because I keep watching it. I'm like, that didn't happen in the books. Hey, that's not the way that happened. It's different. It's a show. They're having to rewrite it because you can't, anyways. So
yeah, I agree. All right, friends, let's go back to you guys. I mean, what else you guys have on deck? Let's take a look at some of our usual suspects, right? We talked about Tesla. Let's take a quick look at it again. Our good buddy Tesla here this morning. Great day on Friday. Again, we had an awesome day on Friday. Look at that move. I'm gonna have Tesla again. It is just a fun stock to watch. I'm gonna add them right here next to Netflix on my list. Tesla, Nvidia. I somewhat been keeping on my secondary list. Let's see how it looks like today. Very active, 6.3 million shares traded. I think today's just a usual suspects list. I don't like anything on the gappers this morning. Nothing catches my attention. We got 4 stocks of the Magnificent Seven coming alive this week with earnings, so that's going to be exciting as well. I mean, there's just so much to look at. But this morning, we're starting a little bit slow, just kind of see where the direction is going to be as far as the gappers list. Oh, here we go. There's one gapping down. SPCB just made our list. Let's see what is that about. SPCB. It's used. I think that this is a space company that maybe you started talking bad about.
That's what I thought, but
now
no,
it's gapping
apparently
down.
not. This is a security company out of Israel, Supercom. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, super calm. I mean, that sounds so 90s, man. That is like so 90s when like the internet was first coming out. What is this?
They had earnings this morning. I think that's the only reason why it's on our list.
Yep.
I don't know if this is dual traded or not. I said it's an Israeli company, so it's possible. I don't have enough news to really comment on it, Carlos. I can tell you right now, definitely not watching it.
Yeah. I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it. So move on. PLTR has been mentioned on our YouTube chat. Let's see here, PLTR this morning. I mean, PLTR has been great. I've been watching it almost every day last week. You can see here on the daily, it's been giving us some really great opportunities. And I missed some opportunities on it because I wasn't fast enough on the trigger. But yeah, I think it's worth watching it. This stock has recovered. If you guys look at the daily, it did drop down quite a bit here from the highs, and it pretty much has recovered in about a month and 2 months and a half. We're very close to these recent highs here, around 125. We'll call it. Might be a little bit higher or lower, but yeah, I like it. I'm gonna add PLTR on the list, and it's been treating us so well, man. So yeah, definitely going on there. All right, let's stop here, Peter. Let's take a look at our what is next here? Oh yeah, our events. It's Monday.
Let's look at our schedule for the week.
Let's look at our schedule for the week. See what we got going on here. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a Monday, so we can talk to you about what's every week. We do a full slate of activities here at Bear Bull Traders. We start on Monday with orientation and onboarding sessions, so it's a great opportunity just to get yourself set up. We talk technology, we talk trading theory, we get you all started. So we usually have a lot of members that join over the weekend. If you want to then get a good intro time in your calendar to join Carlos on the onboarding session, that's the bottom of your screen right there. That's available to all membership classes. What level of membership you are, everybody can go to that. There's a new members onboarding. It gets you oriented with our chat room, with all of the resources you can take advantage of at Bear Bull Traders, but also with in general. So it's a great place to go and ask your questions. People are afraid to ask questions, right? And I always say, and I firmly 100% believe this, if you have a that you need answered, ask it, because I'm willing to guarantee you there's another dozen people listening that need that answer too and want to know the answer. So don't be afraid to ask the question. People are always like, I don't want to look stupid, right? I don't want to be the newbie. And look, that's not how we treat people. We welcome all questions. We've all been there. We all had to start somewhere, right? Everything from what is short selling, and I don't understand how that works, to, how do I configure my Fibonacci levels, which is not really a thing, but so we explain what that means and how obvious they are really a thing, but it confuses people. So in any event, we will take you through any question that you want to ask. So don't be afraid to ask. That's at 8:00 tonight in the onboarding room. During the course of the day, speaking of Avi, he's going to talk to you about, he's going to do some live trading with you at 11 a.m. That's for our elite members in the webinar room. And then in the onboarding room at noon, again, available for everybody, we're going to go through the DOS Trader Pro setup. So this DOS Trader is a platform that we use to visualize all of our trading activity. It's a great tool, but there's lots of hidden tricks and features in it that you need help finding. So Brendan will help you with that at noon every Monday. So that's what we got going on today. All right. Poor Avi. Now I've opened the can of worms. I was going to ask him to explain his levels again. He is so tired of having to explain what he's done, which is brilliant. I think what he's done in repurposing an existing study to do something different. But anyways, it's his own thing. It's patent pending, but and it's well done. So just don't ask him. Just roll with it. It is what it is. All right, guys. So that's what we got going in the webinar room. Hopefully you'll join us. And if you wanted to join us more permanently as a member, then there's lots of stuff happening. You can be part of this conversation that I'm talking about that we're having in the chat room right now. You can be part of it the whole time the chat room's open. If you do that, you can join with an intro offer, which is always available, even if it's not listed on the screen here, right through our Platinum, which gives you access to the boot camp as well as a $50,000 funded trading account. So you're going to want to take advantage of that if you can. I thought we were sold out on the boot camp because it starts next week. Like, we're only a week away. So this is really your last chance to join the current boot camp. Now, that being said, you could sign up and take advantage of this deal and only join for the September camp. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. That gives you lots of time to plan for it and plan your time through the fall if you want. Well, fall if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, and take advantage of that. But if you wanted to join this camp that starts in a week, look, don't do it on a whim, though. Make sure you're committed. We often get people that join last minute and then realize that they just don't have the time. It's very intensive. There's lots going on. But if you're ready, if you've got the time, then consider joining. We just opened up a couple more spots, so there's a few left if you wanted to join. It starts on the 5th, I think, which is the Monday coming up. And, we get you ready. There's pre-work that you can do. You can get started right now if you want to join. So consider that. The Platinum's got all sorts of information on it. If you click on where it says join now, it can give you the details, or go to peakcapitaltrading.com and it can give you a lot more details about what it's about. Or email us. I had a couple of questions over the weekend that I was answering about it. I'm always happy to help anybody that's got questions. Peter@bearabletraders.com or Peter@peakcapitaltrading.com. Reach out. Like, we're all very accessible. Ask any one of us. We're happy to give you a hand. So that's what we got going on. Hopefully we'll see you soon in the chat room or in boot camp or both. And yeah, trade smart. And you know what? You're going to have a good long trading future ahead of you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We'd love to see you guys there. Excited for this boot camp to get started next week. So
I'd like to welcome Taylor Swift to the chat room. Taylor Swift 2024, although this is like last year's Taylor Swift, apparently. But welcome last year's Taylor Swift. Saying, would love to join the boot camp, but it's my nighttime. I get that. We do a lot of live stuff. We do live trading every single day during boot camp, and of course that's during market hours, but everything, including the live trading, is fully recorded and available to boot camp members. So we have a lot of people that join from all over the world, and many of them can't do most of the things live. You don't miss out, right? You can do it at your schedule anytime, no matter where in the world you are. People have busy schedules. You can't make everything, and we give you a lot of sessions and opportunities to join different things. So join the stuff you can live. The stuff that you can't, you can watch every single thing we do in a recording. So it's all available. So if that's of interest to you, just know that is how we run it. So you don't have to be live. I think it's better in a lot of cases because you could actually watch the market while you're watching our traders trade live and sort of see how it shapes up. But you can also do that using a simulator, right? So you don't lose out on anything if you wanted to consider it. So there you go.
Yeah, 100%. Welcome Taylor Swift to the chat. We appreciate being a member of BBT. That's awesome. All right, friends, let's get to it. My list right now, and a quick look at our gappers list. If anything else has popped up on here, I don't see anything new. No, still the same suspects on this list. So my list so far is made up of Netflix, Tesla, Nvidia, PLTR. I'm sure some other ones we could look at. We got Apple on here as well. Again, some of our usual sites we can take a look at, but for the most part, that's what I'm going with. So let's do levels for this, and we can always add or take off as we get into our live session here. So Netflix right now, again, beautiful daily on Friday. Friday at the moment, not doing a whole lot. Not the easiest stock to trade, but I really like what we're seeing here. So let's see. This all-time highs you mentioned, Peter, right? I'm looking at weekly. Oh yeah, man, look at this stock. Wow. I mean, just insane. Wow, they're awesome. All
Yeah.
right, so
And I'm surprised. I'm surprised to see
I
it up
mean,
here from a business fundamentals. But hey,
right.
look, if the market's never wrong.
Yeah. They started with these movies and shows that, like, they had no stars in it. And now lately, you kind of see some mega stars kind of doing Netflix originals. So
Yeah,
they
I
figure
gotta.
something out there. They're paying big dollars.
Uh,
It's
they're
it's working.
figuring out the model. I have to say, frankly, most of the movies that have had the most Netflix produced stuff that have had the big stars is not their best work, in
Right,
my
right.
opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like they spent all the money on the stars and they forgot to hire good writers. I don't like.
yeah, yeah,
There's some big budget ones out there like Red Notice. It's got so many stars. It's got cameos from like Ed
yeah,
Sheeran
yeah,
does a cameo in Red, and it's just it's I don't know. The writers should be a little ashamed of
yeah.
themselves
Y-
on
y-
that one because
You
they
know what
had like
happens
all of the
too?
star power squandered.
Yeah, well, that's what it
You know.
is, right? If you have a favorite actor on that thing, even if it's bad, guess what? You're gonna watch it, and that's watch time, right? They
Yeah.
figure out a model that kind of works. You can't do that forever though. That come and bite you in the butt. So you got to figure out some
But
good
then they've
actual
got
writing.
You're right, and then they've got some stuff that they buy that is great. That unfortunately is under. I keep going back. If you guys like sci-fi movies, Spectral. It's one of the first Netflix produced movies. It's probably about I don't know 6 years old or more now. I don't know when it was produced. I love that movie. I think it's an underrated sci-fi classic. But anyways,
Yeah,
Spectral.
yeah,
Check it out.
yeah.
All right.
You know who's got great writers? Apple. Apple. Their shows are actually really good. There's a lot of the storylines are really really nice. So, our neighbors is nice. They got a lot of great stuff there. The studio that came out too, that's pretty good. So if you like some of those, they got some good writers. You could tell. But I'm still waiting to see an iPhone on any of their shows. I mean, I'm sorry, not an iPhone, Android phone, or a computer that's not a Mac. Every time they show something with a computer or a
Hey
phone,
man,
it is
no,
never
they're
an
they're
Android
leveraging the brand.
or something else. So it's like, look at this. So it just sticks out like, look at that, look at that. So of course,
Yeah.
I would do the same thing, but it's so funny.
I always
Um,
find it fun when you start picking out They've gotten a lot more subtle about their ad placements. If you remember movies in like the '90s and '80s, it used to be pretty obvious where they would do the I'm thirsty, and then they would have like a drink of Pepsi or something, right? And they would it's just it was
yeah,
right in your face. Now they're a little
yeah,
quieter about it, but you look at some shows where it's like every single car that appears in the entire movie or show is a Chevrolet. Like it's just like that's those are the only vehicles that exist in the universe of this show, and I'm like, okay, I guess I know who's a silent sponsor of this show, or things like that, right? Where
yeah.
it's I always find that funny to pick that stuff out. But,
Absolutely, man, absolutely. All right, friends, let's get some
yeah,
levels. So
Audi.
so Netflix, yeah, Audi does heavy, man.
Well, Audi in the
Their
Marvel
stuff.
movies, as Will Deal is pointing out, and that's true.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
if you're a
yeah,
car person, you'll notice that. If you're not, you don't care. But yeah,
yeah.
every car's an Audi, and they even had some like non-public release cars, right? That they put in there, and it's good. It's great. It's great advertising. Again, if you're a car person, I guess maybe that's who they're targeting. But not sure.
Yeah.
Didn't convince me to buy one, but still.
Yeah. Here it is, friends. Netflix, no levels towards the top. You only have the highs and lows for the last two trading days here. Again, as we're hitting all-time highs, the next level towards the bottom I see is 1065. It's going to be coming off this peak over here. We since then dropped down. You got some levels even lower. But as far as major levels, this is it right here for Netflix. There's really nothing else. But I do like that one. Today, the daily does look awesome on it. So let's see what comes up on that. Next, our good buddy Tesla. Always great to have in play. Big day on Friday, like many of the stocks that we're going to go through here. Towards the bottom, you have the previous day close, the highs and lows for the last two trading days. Also, you got the previous day close, pretty much slamming into the pre-market lows today, so don't have to do anything there. Towards the bottom, we are going to mark down 278.20. That's coming off this level right over here. If you draw a line, you can see how much touches we have on there, so that's pretty good. And then right before we get to our lows of the last 2 trading days, we do have an area right at 271. You got a couple of days slamming into that. Speaking of slamming into things, guys, our thumbs that up are really low this morning, so I would love for you guys to slam onto that button, help us out. We have a good group watching today. Thank you guys for joining. We appreciate you guys. Let's hit those thumbs up if you haven't done so already. If you have, we appreciate you very, very much. All right, so that's Tesla. Again, towards the top, we're going to mark down the high of the pre-market, 292.60. We'll put one there, and then above that, guys, we do have another area right around 299.47 for Tesla. So again, big day on Friday, like many tickers had, and today in the green. So starting off good so far, slightly there, just below that 2%. Might join the gappers list in just a second. So that is our good buddy Tesla, fired up by our next one here, Nvidia. So Nvidia, on the other hand, down 1.17 million shares traded. High of the pre-market on this one sitting at 110.45. We'll put a level there, and then the low of the pre-market down at 109.01. Towards the bottom, heavy on fast levels goes. You got plenty down here. Don't not need to add anything else. And then above the previous day close here, let's get some levels towards the top, just in case we want to go green this morning. 113.81, and right up here, 117.92 as far as the daily goes for Nvidia. Next on here is going to be PLTR. This is, again, it's been fun. PLTR has been a lot of fun to watch, guys. I mean, we've been having it on our list almost every day, I feel like, for the last 2 weeks. And, you know, some days are not great, but for most have been much better than what we're used to seeing. So really like this ticker. 114.13 is the high of the pre-market. The low is below the previous day close, over at a 112.05. And once you do that, you can see here you got plenty of stuff towards the bottom. You don't need to add anything else. We're going to go to the left here and then just look a little bit higher. This one we had that really nice gap up and continuation. Up here we got a couple of levels. First one is going to be 116.89, and then right up here we're going to have 120.56 on the PLTR. So that's it. That covers our list here, friends. We're going to go ahead and let you know what our team is watching. Then we're going to let our live traders go into chat, and Peter and I will continue on YouTube. Peter, what's the team watching?
All right, our team is starting to get their list in, like you should be, preparing your own. I will start at the top here. Looks like Nathan was the first one in. He's going to be watching the Magnificent Seven stocks in their entirety, I guess, and adding AMD to the list. Lenny got his usual long list here, watching NVIDIA, Tesla, Meta, Apple, Amazon, PLTR, and MSTR. Thor is going to be watching Amazon, Tesla, and NVIDIA. Avi is going to be watching, well, there's Avenacci levels on all of his favorite stocks. Brian's going to be watching Tesla, NVIDIA, PLTR, Meta, and the market overall. Jared's going to be watching PLTR, AMD, and then he says secondary Bull. Is that a stock? Anyways, Bull and Tesla. I got to look this up. Bull, Webull. Okay, all right. He's going back to watching Webull. I forgot about that. All right. What else we got? We got Brendan, who's going to be watching Tesla, NVIDIA, PLTR, and Apple. Eamon's got a potential long on Apple. Paris is back, baby, and he's going to be watching Tesla, of course, NVIDIA, PLTR, Apple, and Google. Phil, also in with his list, going to be watching NVIDIA, Tesla, PLTR, Apple, and then the market indices overall. I've got my list ready here. I'm watching the usual, and the usual for me is, of course, Tesla. I'm watching NVIDIA, and I'm watching Apple. I'm watching PLTR, and AMD. I think that's what I'm going to keep an eye on today, so we'll see what happens with those. Carlos has got his list at the bottom of the screen. You can see all of those tickers there. He's got a couple of unique ones with MLGO and HIMS that he might keep an eye on, and we're going to trade live with you through the open. We've got about 4 minutes to the market open here, and Andrew is in China. We don't think he's joining us this morning. I don't see him in the chat room yet, but don't worry. In the chat room, we've got Brian, who's going to be trading live with you, and joining him, I'm not sure. Is it Thor?
Yeah, Thor's covering for Andrew today. Yep.
All right. Okay. So Thor's going to be joining him, and Ernesto. That's right. I'm not sure if his meeting with Xi is this morning. I know he said he had a couple things to talk to him about. As we found this weekend, there was like some knockoff that was actually trading some of our courses in in China. We're not quite sure how that works, but anyways, they were.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Sometimes IP goes missing in China, so they'll be taking it over. But anyways, let's hand over the room to Brian and Thor. I see them getting ready in there, and I see Thor. Look at him, looking all handsome and dapper. So he's ready to trade. We'll get ready to trade, guys. We'll just do the little switch over. You may feel a light tingling. Have a smart day. Trade well.
Yeah. All right, chat. We'll leave you guys with those two fine gentlemen, and we're going to continue here on a chat. All right, let's get ready for the market open, guys. 3 minutes as we get rocking and rolling here. Let's go ahead and bring in Peter in our bottom tab here, and we'll get our 5 minute or 1 minute, and we'll get ready to rock and roll. So, all right, as usual, guys, at the market open, I wait 3 minutes before I take any trades. Peter, if he sees a good rice, you like the rising devil. I think it's one of your favorite strategies, Peter. Peter, coming into the market open, right? So we'll look for those. Again, no pressure to trade, guys. Take it easy. Follow your process. That's very, very important. Cannot stress how important that is coming into the market open. All right, let's get our 5 minute, 1 minute, and perfect. All right, let's see here.
2 minutes to the open here. What have we got today?
It's been so good, man. This market has been really, really good to us. I feel like we're getting so spoiled with all this volatility. Like I am literally having one of the best start to the year in a long time. So this is nice. This is nice. Yeah, man. Okay. Yeah, this volatility. Wow. And it's funny because I was thinking, is it the volatility or is the market the same and I'm just getting better over the years? You know, it's hard to tell. You know, because you think about that, like, it's not you. It's the market's great or the market's bad. But it's hard to tell, like...
You know, there is something to be said as the more you practice, the longer we trade, the more you can effectively adapt to market volatility and changing market conditions. So I think there's some to that because, you know, I actually look forward, like often people dread market change because then you don't know what to do about it. Here, I find that I actually look forward to it because it just creates another trading paradigm, another opportunity, and we can adapt to it.
Yeah.
You might have heard my alarm. We got a minute to go, a little less than a minute now, 45 seconds. The market open.
All right.
I'm not targeting anything, although I'm keeping an eye on PLTR, keeping an eye on NVIDIA this morning, Tesla. I like. We'll just see what of any of these gives us trading opportunity. I don't have, you've mentioned my Rising Devil. I don't have any slated Rising Devil or Fallen Angel type trades this morning because I don't have anything moving with enough aggression on news that puts me in that position. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. We might see some chop or not. I'm not sure. Not sure what to expect.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, let's see. We're about to find out in 3, 2, 1. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, look, I actually got my bell this morning. All right, that's good.
Yeah, I like that. All right, let's see here. All right, Tesla's selling down. We'll take a look at what the overall market is doing here.
Yeah. NVIDIA popped up right at the bell. Tesla, Apple, Microsoft all moved down at the open here. Netflix popping up, well over 1,100 right now. Woof, and still moving.
Yes. Wow, Netflix is gone. Look at this thing.
I know.
This company's just crushing it. The Red Envelope Company. I used to love those things. Used to love the queue. Setting up the queue for my movies to deliver. Did you guys have that in Canada? Was that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Netflix or okay, good.
No, it was Netflix. I didn't really use it back when I think I used it once or twice. I tried it. And I'd preferred at the time to go down to my local Blockbuster and get a movie. But that was like the end of the Blockbuster era.
Yep.
And I think I remember trying their when Netflix first tried their streaming, and it was horrible. because they hadn't figured out the whole buffering technology yet. So like you would get these chop outs and would pause and I'm like, well, this is dumb. I'm still going to go rent a movie. So
Yeah, yeah.
then they sort of figured out how to manage. I mean, we got to remember bandwidth wasn't what it was today back then either, right? Now we take for granted you could live stream anything, any video.
Mm.
Back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, that wasn't so much of a thing. Streaming video
Nice.
was challenging.
Yeah. All right,
All
folks,
right,
we got
Nvidia
here. Yeah,
is it's dropping down now a little bit, and we're getting some little bit of
some
chop
selling.
here. Tesla's
Yeah,
moving down.
getting selling in a couple of places. I do like the way Nvidia is looking here. If it can stay below the VWAP and be a short, it can look great. Right now, it's not setting up as anything decent, but if it stays below the VWAP here like this, that I like it for a short. I like the way it's setting up on the 1 minute. So let's see. But oh man, if this was minute 3, I'll be short right here. But I gotta wait for minute 3 based on my my criteria here. So, but I will be short right in here if I can get that set up after 3 minutes. Tesla's going the other way, showing some strength. Netflix is wow, but right back down. The lack of volume makes Netflix so difficult to trade and read the price action, right? Because you get these really crazy pops up or down, and that kind of keeps me away from that. Let's see, what is you see how bad that is? Are you seeing this, Peter, on Netflix? How bad the price
Yeah,
action is? You're not getting the
yeah.
volume, right? So yeah, that's not gonna be good. All right, let's see Tesla above the VWAP here. That's the breakout candle I want to say. Let's see if we can get better confirmation. Oh, Nvidia's gone. Yeah, Nvidia's gone. Look at this. Oh, that is a
Yeah, I think I
beautiful
missed the
short.
entry. I too was looking at Nvidia. It felt a little early for me, but 109.60 was where I was watching it. Now, of course,
Yeah,
seems like an obvious would have been a great entry, but shame on me. Take the
yeah.
damn trade. I'm gonna have to like bring this with me on vacation. Maybe just yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, look at PLTR taking a nice dive here. Tesla's trying to hold. Overall
Yeah.
market actually not selling off as some of these individual stocks are, like the Nvidias and the PLTRs. Um, all right, we're coming up on minute 5 in a few here. I'm looking for a 5-minute ORB. Things are, man, Nvidia was beautiful. Guys, anybody take Nvidia short? I know not everybody follows the 3-minute rule that I have, but if you took Nvidia short, you're doing really well. Going into below the pre-market lows here at 109.01, down well below that now. So that is beautiful. PLTR, some weakness. Nvidia's not pulling back for us, so it just keeps going. This 5-minute candle is going to be so wide. Just look at this here. This is going to be a very tough 5-minute ORB to try to trade. It's getting way too extended. Same thing with PLTR. Here's the new 5-minute. We're pulling back. Tesla did not. Tesla could be a good long here above the VWAP. Yeah, I'm thinking Tesla long. I haven't gotten in yet. Wow.
You should have.
Wow.
If you got in right when you
was,
said it, Carlos. This is for you, buddy.
oh my goodness. Peter, I'm telling you, I was literally about to get into this trade.
I
And then it
know.
did that.
That's
Yeah.
something I would do. Don't be emulating me. I'm
Yeah.
trying to be better like you.
Oh man. Wow. Very nice. Very nice, very nice. I would have done like 3 parcels by now on this thing. What a nice move. Yeah, yeah, what a nice move. All right, let's see what else is out
Instapop.
there.
Yeah.
What's that?
You just missed it. It had the Instapop.
Oh yeah,
If you
yeah,
got
yeah.
in, you would have
Yep.
you would have been partialing within seconds. Oh my God, look
Oh
at it
yeah, I
back
would
down
have.
though.
Yeah, but it would have been worth it already because from 289 all the way to 292, you're gonna get some good stuff there. But yeah, look at this drop now. This is not good. This is messy. This is really, really messy here. And then
Wow.
back up. Are we pulling back to go higher? I don't trust that. Nvidia. And I can't. Wow. POTR back down. Tesla's. It's interesting. It's pulling back here. Do I want to break out on Tesla? Yeah, let's go. Let's go long on Tesla here for the breakout. Let's see if we can get higher. Things look a little bit weak. Should have been a little lower, but let's see if we can push higher in Tesla. Nvidia was the trade of the day, man. This was so good.
Yeah. I am
Nvidia was the
a
one. Yeah,
little angry at myself for missing that one. Hood
yeah.
is also dropping. It just went red.
Hood.
So
Oh, we didn't
it's
have hood.
down
I wanted hood on my secondary list. I forgot to do that. Let's put hood here.
here.
We were talking about
Mm-mm-mm.
this earlier. Yeah, it's another good one as well. Hood there. The clean drop on hood. All right, Tesla. See if we could break the highs. I like this pullback candle here. And this is what actually this is kind of why I hesitate joining this candle because I wanted to get kind of like a pullback like this to go higher, but yeah, this is hesitated.
Nvidia. Well, I should have been in Nvidia. What the heck is wrong with you, kid?
Although I'm in on Tesla now, it's not trading well. Like the price action looks funky. I don't know if you guys see that too, or is it just me? It just doesn't look as fluid as it usually does. So it's just weird. Is it just me, guys? So should I restart my platform? I don't know, but it just doesn't look as clean as it normally is. Um, Trading views acting up on you. Yeah, it's not just that thing. It could just be the exchange, the way they're saying their information. I don't know, but it just looks
Looks
weird. See,
looks
like the
fine to
ways
me.
it does look good to
Maybe you
you.
just need to
Okay.
change quote servers. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let me try that actually. Data stream mode. Let me change quote server. See if that works here. Um, Quote server change. We'll pick another one here.
So one of the things I was just doing, guys, I was taking note of. I take notes every day. I was taking note of the Nvidia trade. Sorry that I missed because I find it's one of the best things you can do is journal your trades. I know we've talked about journaling in the past, but journal, journal,
Yeah.
journal, journal. You're going to learn a lot from journaling. Is the last thing you usually want to do, especially when you're not having a good day. But journaling is important, and I find that I love journaling all decisions that I made. So I made a decision not to enter Nvidia, right? If you just journal the trades you took, you're going to miss actually a lot of your decision points. It's good to journal every decision you take, including the trades you chose not to take, because you can go back and assess, am I making good decisions? And in this case, I would argue I did not make a good decision. The setup was there was nothing wrong with it, but I hesitated, right? It's a Monday morning. I didn't want to jump in early and have an early loss. That was what I was thinking, which was the wrong thought process. I should have said, is it a decent setup? Yes. Then take the trade. I don't know. It could work. It might not work. Either way, the trade setup would have been solid. So I find I learn a lot from that, and it helps me along my journey. So food for thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Out on Tesla, guys. I just got out there while Peter was chatting. Um, but yeah, Peter, I agree with you, man. You need to. That's a great idea. And I actually don't do that, but yeah, that's a good point. You miss part of the equation when you don't track the decision making part of it.
Right.
So that's very good. It's a lot of work, guys. It's a lot of work, but there's benefits to it.
Yep.
Netflix is messy. PLTR, wow, PLTR has had one big drop, but messy as well. Nvidia was the cleanest one towards the bottom, and Tesla stopped me out, and it's gonna go again.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's sort of messy this morning.
It
our
is, man. Yeah,
market.
yeah,
Like even Netflix, which had moving high and then it dropped right down, and now, like you said, volume. I Netflix. I always find tough. Like if you look
yeah,
at, well, let's look at Tesla. Tesla's got 19 million shares traded so far this morning. Netflix 400,000. Right, like that relative
yeah,
volume just
yeah,
makes it that much more difficult to trade. Partly it's price based, right? People don't like trading $1,000 stocks as much as they like trading $200 stocks. It's just reality. So, um,
yeah, yeah,
I think if and Netflix, I think likes it that way. I don't think at this point they really want to have a high volume traded stock. Otherwise, they would just split. I mean, they could easily do 5 for 1, 8 for 1 type split, and that would put them in the tradable price range. But they're clearly made the decision not to.
yeah. SPY, as you can see here, guys, pushing higher. Uh, Nvidia trying to bounce.
It's funny how that. I was just thinking about that. Like there was a time, if you guys, well, and we'll get back to that time, right? When you're in boom markets where you see a lot of companies split their stock. Because think if you've been watching Netflix for a while and it's $1,000 stock, and if they did a 10 for 1 split, suddenly they would be like a $100 stock or a $99 stock, right? And that would seem like a deal. Well, I can get Netflix for only $100 now. It's just 1,000 last week. It's the same stock. Like it doesn't actually change its relative value, but they actually can drive price increases faster, valuation higher with a lower price stock. So, in good
Yeah,
market conditions, you also get bigger drops, right? In bad market conditions, think about it: a $1 drop on a $100 stock is the same as a $10 drop on a $1,000 stock. So, it works against you if your stock price is going down versus up. So.
yeah.
All right,
Um,
guys, we're still keeping an eye on things. Nvidia
yeah.
still, I think, was the best trade of the morning. Carlos, you called it. I was watching it. Neither one of us took it. We
Yes.
should
Yeah,
both be
yeah, yeah,
ashamed.
yeah. Agree. Agree. Slow start to the week as far as our executions here. Um, I still think Tesla could be a great breakout trade here. They're above the V up. They're not selling down like many other stocks. So I still think they look decent for that as far as the price action right now. But we need everything to start going up, and that kind of holds us down here. Nvidia for a pullback. I think Rahi, you was asking me if Nvidia is good for a pullback and a sell down. I don't know, man. I don't think so. Um,
In Yeah,
I don't
Nvidia's a
think so.
tough
Yeah.
one that way because it's got a lot of fans, sort of the way Netflix, sorry, the way Tesla does or
Yep.
traditionally has had, and it can bust through that VWAP and go to high of day at any given moment. So yeah, like this, what I consider mid range, like right now between about 9:40, 9:45, and about 10:30, 11. I find it's hard to use patterns to trade it, at least in my opinion, because you just get the fans that doesn't really matter what the level 2 says or what it looks like at the moment. This thing could shoot the high of day or it can drop the low of day. I find
Yeah.
it challenging anyways.
All right. So we have here.
Wow, Intel actually had a good rise this morning, oddly,
Hmm.
of all of the semiconductors.
Wow. Look at that. Intel. It's my longest trade ever
Yeah,
last week. All day.
Intel and
Like
AMD also is
25
having a
cents.
good morning so far. Went green and it's at high of day right now. So
Yeah. Nvidia could start getting interesting above the VWAP here if it can break through that, retest and head higher. That could be nice. POTR got above the VWAP. Netflix trying to get above the VWAP as well. Tesla is breaking out now. Tesla. I was waiting for a better entry, but I think Tesla's gonna be
yeah,
long today. I really
those could be
think.
frustrating trades, Carlos. I mean, and
Yeah.
and you and I have been around the block enough that it doesn't bother us as much as it used to. But you can't say that it doesn't bother you a little bit when your
Yeah.
exit is
Yeah.
like you exited at a smart point. It looked like it was breaking VWAP, and then of course in hindsight, your exit. Look at that exit triangle. Like it's
Yeah.
at the, it's right at the low, right, of
Yeah, yeah,
everything, and
exactly.
that's
And I
just
waited as long as
frustrating.
I could. Like I gave it enough time. Like I waited for
Yeah,
this scanner to close. When this one opened and it went red down here, I'm like, okay, that's not good. We could get a flush. You got to get out
right,
because you just can't keep waiting and waiting and waiting. You end up down here at 287, and then that's a no no. So,
right.
but uh, but yeah, Tesla looks like he wants to go here. I just need a better entry though. I want to join this party, but we need a better entry. Meta pushing higher above some levels here. Someone mentioned this in chat. Yeah, it's looking very good. Nice reversal.
And I mean, and
ATR.
look at Nvidia now, right? That profile has changed,
Yeah.
whereas before was looking weak and it was hanging out for a couple of minutes below the VWAP. Now it just spiked up, and the level two suddenly looks much more bullish than it had. But again, this changes very rapidly. I mean, this thing could be back below
Mm-hmm.
the VWAP before I'm finished talking. So
Yeah.
yeah. Hood also having a go right now. It
Yeah.
went
Yep.
down and sort of hit Friday's close, had a pretty strong bounce off of that. Now it's at an early high of day here, but it is high of day.
Yeah. Let's see here. Um,
Oh,
PLTR,
test. Sorry, Carlos.
Nvidia. Uh,
I know. I
Tesla,
knew it.
Tesla.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. It's
Tesla, come on, baby. It's fun. I was thinking about getting in, and I was thinking about getting in here, and I'm like, I want a good entry near VWAP because if this thing's gonna chop around, I can survive near VWAP. And look at this thing, and I,
look
I knew it.
where
I
Where,
knew
where,
it.
where, what we can do normally as experienced traders over time is you can take, and this is frustrating. It's frustrating for anybody, but at least you
Yeah.
can say, "Look, I had the right idea, right? Like
Right.
you
Right.
weren't wrong. You weren't wrong in the setup. The execution just wasn't there, right? You didn't
Exactly.
optimize that
Yep.
execution, which the entry put you in a bad position. You exited that, followed your rules. You had to do it, but yeah, it's at least you could say, "Look, I had the right view of what I was trying to do." In fact, you remember, like your original entry you had talked about would have been about where your exit was, like 2 minutes before you'd entered, right? Just before that candle pop, you'd mentioned it. You just didn't have
Yeah.
enough time to hit the button before it popped up on you, right?
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah. Right over here. Oh man. Yes.
yeah, right
Yes.
over
Cause
there,
yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
Like that's where you talked about it. You
Yeah.
absolutely called it right there. So
Instant pop there. Jose Villa says you guys barely take trades. Absolutely, man. We are snipers, man. I'm a sniper. I don't have a machine gun. I'm a sniping type of trader, man. I take very little trades. Somebody asked
yeah,
me the other day, how many trades do you take? How many trades do you take a day? And I'm like, as little as possible to hit the goal. That's it. As little as possible.
yeah,
Like I want to put on as little risk as possible to make my numbers, right? And that has worked
right.
for me. When I was taking 10, 15 trades a day, I was not making money. Was not making money. So reduce my number of shots, take only quality shots, and it has improved my equity curve drastically, guys. So drastically. So again, do what works for you. Some people like the adrenaline of always being in a trade. They like that, and I did too. I like, oh, I want to be in a trade. I want to be in a trade. Like right now, I'll tell you from again 8 years of experience, I would have been back in Tesla right here chasing it 100%, and I would have been probably stopped out if it kept going lower 100%. But
Yeah.
you know, you live and you learn. You don't do those mistakes after you keep losing money on them. So
My average is always 3 point something number of trades per day. But I always say you keep in mind that that's an average, which means my
yeah,
actual trading range is somewhere between 0 and about 8. That's about the number of trades I take in any given day, and I trade all day. Right, 1 to 2
yeah,
of those trades are usually at the close. Most of them are after the open. At the open, if I just measured my number of trades between the opening bell at 9:30 and 10:30, like that first hour, I probably trade. My average is probably less than one.
yeah, yeah.
It's just
Like look at this right here, right? Didn't work out. Now, if you enter anywhere in here, you're in a very tough spot right now, right? I'm not telling you
yeah,
what to do or what not to do, but you're in a tough spot. And this is what I would do before. I would miss this entry here, and now I will chase it here, and now I have the decision to make. Do I want to stop out or give us a bit more room, right? So, and if you did that, hey, listen, just follow your plan. But if you did that, now you're getting stopped out, and getting in here was not part of your plan. Learn from it and don't do it again. This is why we don't chase things. It's just it's this happens a lot. So good entries are key, because if you would have gotten here at a good entry, I was looking for an entry right in this around this area, even closer to VWAP, to kind of protect myself from chop. You could at least, this happens, you could take a couple of partials up here. This trade is green. This happens, you stop out at break even, or even if this goes higher, we don't know what it's gonna do yet. If it goes higher from here, you can actually still be in the trade, right? So it's the game. It's the game, and you gotta be patient. You gotta wait. And I guarantee you, many people right now are stuck with that decision. Crap, what the heck? Because they chased it. Because this was me back in the days, 24/7. So so many different ways to trade this market, guys. Got to just do what works for you. We keep saying it, but it's so true. I mean, look at our education center. We have 29 different strategies, right? So there's so many ways to do this, but what works for you is what's gonna keep you consistent, right? So yeah, man. It's that's how this thing works. PLTR, NVIDIA. It's getting messy. We are actually having a choppy open. PLTR trying to do something here. PLTR's got the best risk to reward at close to the V up right now for a possible breakout. Level 2 doesn't show anything. Terrific. PLTR. All right, what do you guys got going on? Yeah, Ryan, that's sell down, right? That's what you're talking about, Ryan. Thanks, Abu. I appreciate it. Yes, I agree. New traders need to see less trading. They need to see that. I think that helps. So that a lot of, I like PLTR here for a long, guys. PLTR for a long. Yeah, I like the setup here. I'm gonna go PLTR for a long. Stop loss. Give it $1, 113. Let's see if we get the break. I like the setup on the 5-minute. I know it's a little bit choppy, so 113 to give it enough room. So we're gonna give it $1. But if we do see some weakness, we'll get out of it. But yeah, new traders need to see that a lot of trading is waiting. I mean, it's just, you gotta wait. So that's important. I mean, Andrew's. So yeah, it's just a preference, right? I mean, Andrew and Brian, those guys are awesome, man. If you want to, well, there it goes. If you want to see a lot of trading, join chat. You're gonna see tons of trading from Andrew and Brian. These guys are excellent at what they do. They trade a lot more. Microphone squeak. I could put it a little higher, but yeah, they trade a lot more than we do. So if you want to see active trading, and again, these guys are just excellent traders. Head over to bearwoodtraders.com. You can sign up on a membership, and you can see more active trading than what we do here, right? So different style, and again, they're awesome. So where can I find free courses on Bearwood Traders? You can head over to Trading Terminal Academy, right? So go to tradingterminal.com, click on Academy, and you'll be able to see tons of free stuff on there. So yeah, take advantage of that. There's just a bunch of stuff there. You just have to sign up for like a free membership there, and there's a bunch of free stuff there. Tesla short, Tesla possible short. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm in NVIDIA short. It's actually my second time. I got in it and then got stopped out. I'm just taking a partial now.
Nice.
I was trying to do the break. I got in, got stopped out when I went above VWAP, but then I tried another short, and it's good now. So
yeah, man. Good.
Target is low of day. If we can get there, stop is now at break even.
All right, let's see. You get a nice little drop there. Friends, if you haven't done so on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Really appreciate it, guys. It does help us out a ton with the show, and keeping us on here. So we appreciate if you could slam that. As we get started on the first day of the week here of trading, which is going to be a blockbuster week. I mean, we got a bunch of stuff coming up. I haven't done the schedule of when I'm going to be live, when we're going to be live this week for earnings, but we'll look at that. We'll look at we got Amazon, Apple on Thursday, and we have Meta and Microsoft on Wednesday. Yeah, I think those are two big days after hours. So, but a lot of companies. So we got a ton. Caterpillar. We have Roblox. Roblox. We have that. We
Oh, one of your
have
favorites.
one of my favorites. So we got a bunch. A couple Airbnb, McDonald's. I mean, you name it. So they said, wonder what the value is of the value alone of this week's got to be pretty high as far as company cap. I mean, it's got to be pretty insane. All right, PLTR holding above the VWAP here, not looking great. 113, we're going to stop out of it. We'll see. We'll give it $1. Let's see if it can hold the VWAP somehow, but it's looking very weak this morning. Nvidia's going for you, Peter, here.
Yeah. I took another partial just 30 seconds ago, looking to get 108.50 for my next partial. I'm hoping that it drops here and doesn't get back to VWAP, but it's holding strong here at this level. If it drops, hopefully should drop 20 cents pretty quick.
Peter, did you play the false breakout on Nvidia?
Pretty much. My first trade was the breakdown below VWAP. I actually got in and out in the same minute at 9:52. My second entry was just a minute later at 9:53. So you can see where that is on your own chart. And
I'm looking at a PLTR here, guys. We're right. Oh yeah, we got some big orders to the downside. So this thing is gonna go ahead lower. 113. Yeah, we're out of it. So out on Nvidia, guys. I'm sorry, not Nvidia. Out on PLTR. So 2 losses for me today. And not starting off good.
108.50. I got that break. All right, so I'm gonna hold on here. I'm gonna take my partial if we come back to 108.50. Otherwise, I'm hoping that we get further. It's one of the games I like to play sometimes. I'll hold on my partials because if it moves a little more aggressively than I anticipate, you can wait, right? Because if I was going to take a partial at 108.50, why not see how far you can let it run before you take that partial, right? If it comes back to 108.50, then I'll take it off and I don't lose anything because that's where I would have taken some off anyways. In this case, now I can let it run farther, right? Maybe I can get the low of day before taking that next partial.
Yeah. Short plays have been better today. Both my long plays haven't not gotten any continuation. So the market is kind of feeling a little bit weak here. POTR, look at it go below the VWAP here. So the short was much nicer. Tesla, same thing, heading down. Netflix, wow, everything's selling down. Oh, look at the SPY. Yeah, everything is going to the weak side here. So, short. And I don't see anything good with a good risk to a good risk to reward right now. Good risk to reward right now. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the kind words.
All right, so sitting short here on Nvidia.
Look at Tesla go. MLGO, it's no good. HIMS down, hood down, everything down this morning so far.
And just to here, Carl. Am I sharing a
Amazon? You can.
Let's see. Am I sharing this screen? There you go.
Yeah, I see that.
There's my trade on Nvidia. You guys can see. So I just zoom in a little bit. You can see that first stop out that I had, right? Stopped out when I went above VWAP. You can see I got back in when I saw the weakness. Now we're at low of day. So we're getting a great move here. I'm gonna take another partial here. So there you go. You can see I just took a partial. My stop's now back at break even. 109.22 is my entry. You can see that on my chart, hopefully.
Yeah, no, I see it, man. Beautiful.
So Good
Nice,
move.
nice trading, man. Good way. Took the
Look
trade.
at that. I'm trying.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
love
missed
it.
the initial move on Nvidia, but we're working
Yeah, we're
on it
making
here.
up for
So
it. Making up for it. That's good. That's good. Um, all right, so 0 for 2 for me right now, guys, and I don't see anything that looks great as far as risk to reward here. Even if I want to join this sell-off, everything has moved pretty far from the VF for what I like to trade. So I'm not gonna jump on anything here at the moment. Peter's officially an open trader. Yes, I agree.
well,
We,
hey, look, I got to learn sometime, I guess. It only took
yeah,
me
yeah,
8 years to figure out some of the. But I wouldn't say that I'm there yet. I still have work to do.
yeah, yeah. Let's see here. Wow, POTR continues lower, breaking the low of the uh, day right now. Nvidia is doing really good for you, Peter, man. Peter, this could be a big trade, man. This could be a really
It
nice
could.
trade here. Yeah. What's the next level we
Got
have?
room. I'm looking at the 60-minute chart here just to see where we could possibly move to, and
Mm-hmm.
there's an area of support down 106.50. Now, I don't know if we're actually going to go that far. It depends on how weak the market turns out to be, but I may take some off here because we're at a low of day, and I don't know. I'm not sure I'm convinced it's going to go that low, so I
Yeah.
might take some more off, and then I could add if we get back up to VWAP. Might be worth adding into this
Yeah.
trade if and when we get there, but we'll see. Right now, it's still doing okay. As long as it's hanging out underneath that low that it's set at 940, I'm feeling good about it. If it comes back up like it's about to do now, I might take another partial.
Yeah. Good question here from Hassan. He's asking, why didn't I flip here short? It's a great question. I know people like that are good at flipping. So for me, I still have to look at a strategy. I still got to analyze a strategy. So if I was looking to take this short here, I wouldn't take this short until it went down, test the VWAP, and then I will go short here. That's usually what I look for. So I don't see that here. I can't go short here just because I'm stopping out, right? So I gotta get my setup. Now if this would have happened and we would have went down, then I can go short. So I still have to do some kind of analysis, like, it's just not gonna flip my position. In some cases you can, but I had a lot of bad experience switching positions, man. So that doesn't work
Yeah.
well for me. Not saying it's bad, but I'd rather get in. If I want to go short here, I'd rather get in on an actual short setup, rather than just flipping my position. So that's the reason for it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Tesla bouncing off the previous day close. Might be a pullback to head lower, but you got to be careful with that previous day close support level. Um, I don't see anything I like here. PTR looks like a VWAP break on the 5 minute. Yeah, it does. But look at the buying pressure you're getting on that 5 minute candle. That looks worrisome. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's just a lot of buying pressure to go back short here. Maybe. So the opening range here is this one. This is a 5 minute ORB. And you're battling the previous day close as well, whether it wants to go green or not. So it's just a lot happening there at the moment. Long, no, that wouldn't be a 5 minute ORB long unless it comes back up here and then you're breaking out of the range, right? So long, it wouldn't work out just yet. As far as the strategy, right? Strategy itself. AMD so strong. AMD, yeah, getting above the VWAP here. Nvidia seeing a little bit of a pullback, Peter. You took some partials down at 107.
Yes. Well,
Nice, nice,
that's
nice.
my target. I took some partials
Yeah,
here, like I was talking about. So I'm
yeah,
good for
yeah.
now. I can sort of wait this out to see what happens.
All
Pony,
right, we'll see.
yeah, Pony's been-
Netflix is bad. Let me take this. I'll keep looking at it, but it's just so bad. It is horrible. Just
All
didn't
right,
get
I
the
moved my
volume.
stop up to just under break even on Nvidia because that gives me a good 15 cents over VWAP. So right now, so that's good. I got to take a little bio break. I'm going to be back in just 2 minutes, Carlos. So
Yep. Go for it, man.
be back.
All right, guys. So just looking at what else I have here. If things start going long here, I have to be patient and wait above the VWAP breakout confirmation candle and then a retest. That's the way we're gonna get into any of these. But I'm gonna wait. I'm not good at reversals here. Some people might be getting in for a reversal on some of these stocks back up to VWAP. That could be another play. PLTR is actually pulled back and heading lower. PLTR is not having any of it. Look at that drop here. So PLTR not looking good. Him is bouncing off the VWAP. Hood a little bit choppy on the 5 minute. 1 minute looks good. Well, let's see. Yeah, here's where I gotta wait. I gotta be patient and wait. There's nothing really setting up for me to take. Let's look at Amazon. Amazon, interesting on the 1 minute. I'm gonna add it to my list here. Look pretty nice. But a lot of these VWAP breakdowns happen without my confirmation. Like they just went. Like there was no pullback and retest. There's just straight down. So even PLTR, same thing, just straight down. Tesla probably was the better, a little bit of a pullback there, but again, same thing, straight down. It's just a lot of these tickers didn't really give you an opportunity to jump in on these. Again, for the way I trade, right? Wow, PLTR is really showing some weakness here. Look at this, guys. Low of the day there. Everything else is somewhat trying to hold, but looks like the overall market's just feeling the pressure, some weakness at the moment. PLTR bounce to the 5 minute 200 EMA. Careful shorting here. Yeah, you got to be careful because it's so extended too, right? I mean, but again, if the market's going to go south, it doesn't matter, right? It's going to push through everything. So just got to see what the overall market looks like today. Above 13 EMA, one of my short positions on NVIDIA. Very good. Technicals are tough when a tweet can get the meanest knee jerk. Yeah. It's price action. Gotta be really close to the price action because you're right. Anything can set it off one way or the other. You just don't know, right? So you gotta be very careful with that. Amazon heading higher. All right, we'll see. We'll see what the market does. This market has been awesome, so we can't complain. I'm having a bad start to the week, but can't complain on how great it has been for us. Here, Tesla's pushing. NVIDIA. I think Peter got his stopping, so that's good. In case he goes against him, he'll be good. PLTR. Yeah, I don't see anything I like. All right, let's go to you guys. What do you guys like this morning? What do you guys are in? Did anybody get the bounce on any of these stocks that we're seeing some kind of buying coming in here? Look at NVIDIA, it's almost back to the VWAP. Tesla bounce off the previous day, close back up almost to the VWAP here as well. So we're seeing a little bit of a bounce. So long AMD, nice. Meta. Let's take a look at Meta. Okay, she took it off the previous day close. Good. Nothing for Pig Wrestler. Quiet there. Yeah, George, I figured that's what you meant. You took Tesla. Let's see if we can get the continuation. American Airlines. I haven't looked at those today. Wow, let's go, American Airlines. Yes. Look at that. This is nice. My favorite ticker. Delta. Yeah. Good. Airlines are trying to get something going here. MLGO saw the consolidation right below VWAP few minutes after the open. Yeah, did you trade? I didn't see how this traded. I didn't have it up, so it looks like it might have not been the cleanest price action itself, the way these candles are just kind of gathered here. But without looking at it, I can't tell how it traded here. So, but they're at 14% still. I'm trying to hold here at $9. See if we can do that. What about the seven? The Magnificent Seven, Javier? Is that what you're talking about? Apple. Vance, good morning. You're long in laptop. Come back Wednesday. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it this week though. Because Andrew's traveling. He's on a laptop, so I don't know if he's gonna be able to actually
Yeah,
trade. Yep.
he should be able to pick up a cheap
Um,
one while he's there.
I'm sorry, he'll be able to trade. I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to run his program. You're right.
Yeah,
He could pick up one with like at a huge discount. No tariffs, no
yeah, he should
whatever,
be able
you
to
know?
get some laptops cheap. I would think. Throw them in his bag. Come
So
back with like
Huawei
a dozen laptops in his bag.
come
Explain
he
that one.
should come back with like a dozen Huawei laptops. We'll give those out, you know? They say as you say Huawei, right? Huawei or Huawei?
Yeah.
I don't know how you pronounce
Oh,
it.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
got a few of those on there.
yeah. Well, all
This,
right.
this
I'm
did
still
did
hanging
you
on to this.
survive? Did you survive? Okay, good. Because it looks like it wants to drop back down for you, man. This is great if it can.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if let me.
Let's see if it does. Long PLTR. I don't know, man. It's messy. But follow your plan. All right. Remember, always follow your plan. Regardless of whatever me and Peter say, you follow your plan. Okay. Um.
So, yeah, just bring my tray back over so you guys can see.
Yep.
So you could see, again, I've moved my stop now just below my entry because it's well above the VWAP, which is the blue line. VWAP's now at 108.98. My stop is 109.17. I'm
Mhm.
just hanging
Mhm.
on, right? I took my last partials down when we were at sort of low of day down here, and I saw it, first when we hit low of day, and then when I saw it sort of reversing, you can see I took a little more off. And then,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
again, who knows if we'll get back down to those levels? The first one was because we hit my target. The second one was more protective. And I'm just waiting. So we'll see if I start to see weakness here. If we go up and test the VWAP and then drop, I might add to the trade. The problem is my stop right now. My entry is 107. Sorry, 109.22. I don't have that much room to add a lot of shares because it's going to bring my
Yep.
average down close to that VWAP, and I never want to make a winner or a loser. So I,
Yes.
I,
Yep.
I we'll see what happens, but
Yep.
it looks good.
Uh,
If we get lower,
yeah.
it's looking.
We're definitely looking good to go lower.
These are always the best positions to be in, where you're just managing your trade because you're in a
Yeah.
no risk position. So how do I maximize my profit opportunity at this
Yeah.
point? So all
Yeah. I
right,
don't see anything I like. So SPY levels are at the level where the hell broke loose on Liberation Day. So it's interesting here. Yeah. Let me see. Liberation Day. What day was it?
Liberation Day. What was
Liberation
Liberation Day?
Day.
It was like a Tuesday a couple weeks ago. What day was
Was
that?
it
I
was
don't
it
know.
second? Was it the second? April 2nd? Something with the
Was it
second.
that long ago? I don't remember now. I think
Um.
we should remember such a monumental
Yeah.
day.
Here's the. I think it was here the second. But yeah, it was April 2nd. Yeah, he didn't do the first, he did the second. So here it is. After hours
April
was when
2nd. Yeah.
everything really happened here, right? And then we just got the madness, and we say good time to buy. Look at this, boom, and now we're just kind of crawling higher here. So yeah, was it Wednesday? It was April 2nd. I'm not sure if it was Tuesday or Wednesday, but it was April 2nd. Yeah, I don't know what that
All right.
actual date was. Actual day of the week.
Yeah, that was a Wednesday. Yeah, April 2nd.
Yeah. Um. All right. This is the wait and see zone for me. Wait and see. Gotta wait and see what else we can get. Still potential for some good opportunities, guys. So don't feel pressured to take a trade if your setup is not there yet. It's only 10:15. Like I remind people sometimes, right? It's early.
Yep.
There's other opportunities that are going to be coming up for us. I'm going to be looking for VWAP breakouts with hopefully a retest, but I'm not getting the retest. Some of these breakouts are just going. We saw it with Tesla. We saw it with NVIDIA to the downside. We saw it PRT to the downside. They're not coming back to test. They're just breaking through and continuing. Look at Tesla here. Nvidia for you, Peter, same thing. Well, Nvidia didn't really break. Yeah, actually, it just kept going, right? Not didn't really retest here. So getting a lot of breakdowns. Amazon, same thing, breakdown, no retest of the VWAP. So I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm not getting my signals on a lot of these when it's breaking the VWAP. Long PLTR above the VWAP right here, VWAP breakout. I'm sorry, previous day close breakout. That could be good. Could be good. I'm gonna wait a little bit for the VWAP to see if we get anything there. Some of my cleanest runs were between 12 and 1 last week. There you go. There you go. Yep. There you go. I gotta see how we.
It's amazing to me how. Anyways,
Do it.
just got a notice. Just got a notice from one of my my credit cards saying a payment is due. You need to pay it. I'm like, I paid last week. I think it was like Thursday. I made a payment, and it's amazing how transactions. You notice how charge transactions get posted like instantly to your credit card, but then you make a payment. And it takes like 4 or 5 days to get posted.
I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand.
And there's
that. Yeah.
There's no excuse for that. That is literally banks just messing with you, right? They're just because think of it in aggregate for them. If they get to hold on to your payments for 3 or 4 days, whatever the time frame is, they make a ton of money because they basically get to play with your money in the interim. And there's no excuse. If you can post a charge transaction within seconds, you can post a credit transaction within seconds.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
All right, friends. PLTR, please give us our setup here above the VWAP. Don't just go to the high of the day. Give us our setup so we can join the party. So it's breaking through VWAP here. We just need a little bit of confirmation, and then we can join it. But let's see what it does. Tesla sideways, Nvidia struggling just sideways right now. PLTR's got the best move at the moment. Up. We'll see. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree that take it quickly, post it delayed.
Yeah.
It's a game. Those 2 to 3 days, can you imagine how many transactions, how many payments have been made in like 2 or 3 days before they post? It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's
a lot. It's
millions.
Hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars they get to hold on to constantly. Because think of that.
Yeah.
There are going to be floating payments, like people are making payments every day, and they get to float that money on a permanent basis, basically. And I mean, picture if basically they just get to hold, let's even call it $500 million, whatever the bank is, indefinitely, right? Floating credit, different amounts, but and then they make money off of that. This is why banks get to post record profits, because they play with it. Pig Wrestler saying that in the UK both sides are instantaneous. I'm willing to bet that's because there was a regulation that was put in place requiring banks to do that, and there should be. But unfortunately, Canada and the US, it looks like we don't have that type of regulation. So
why would they do that, right? These banks are making a killing, crushing every year. This is part of the money making machine. Somebody's asking me what I'm looking for in PLTR. I'm looking for the breakout, which we got here. This is the retest. I'm going to go long. If I see some strength in here, I'm going to go long. That's what I'm looking for on this one. So it's setting up just like what I want to see. If between this candle and the next one we start pushing higher above 113.20, then I'll go long. That's what I'm looking for. But see, we're not getting it. Look at that drop there. That's not good. We're not getting the move. So that is the setup for me. It could still happen here as well. It's just kind of the confirmation that we are going to go higher, right? Not just kind of using the VWAP as a way to head back to the low of the day. So that's what I'm looking for. And that's usually what I look for in many of my trades that are around the VWAP. I am, but I have traded more than one trade at a time. Been in more than one at a time, yeah. Looks like it wants to do it here. Let's see. PLTR. It's not looking good now. Just keeps going lower. Can't get above. It can't get above 113 to that 113.20 where we would have gotten in. So it's not doing it. Nvidia just hanging.
The market looks like it's pointing higher in the short term here. Nvidia looks weak at this level. I did just add to my trade, hoping to get a move back down to the low of day. This may fail on me. My break even is now at VWAP pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm actually we'll have to stop if it gets up above VWAP. So.
Yeah. We got our signal here on PLTR. We're in long. Let's see if we can actually get to the high of the day. But it's not a great trading day. But let's see. It's my signal. We got in. Let's hope the volume comes in and pushes higher. SMH barcoding. You're gonna make me pull it up just because you said barcoding. SMCH. Yeah. A lot of it are looking like this now, though. Even Nvidia is like, it's just kind of breaking out now. But yeah, we went through a stretch here, like from 10 to now, where it's just a lot of barcodes is happening there. All right, let's see if PLTR is gonna push towards the high of the day. That'll be nice. And then I gotta get someone to trade 1030 here. Let's see.
Yeah, I may have made a mistake adding to my trade where I did. We'll see if I get stopped out. You are getting, as I said, the market was looking strong at that time, so it's tough to it's tough to add to a trade when you got a strong looking market. But Nvidia looks weak, so I don't know.
All right, let's see what it does here. Below the VWAP, below previous day close around maybe 1260. Below that, I wanted to go below that. $10.30. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, man. Nevertheless, great trade on Nvidia, man. That turned out really, really nice.
Yeah.
Over on YouTube, friends, how we are in likes? I haven't pulled it up lately. We appreciate those thumbs up. 280, 805 watching. Thank you, guys. Thank you. But just use this as a reminder. If you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it. We only ask because I know people forget, like I forget, like I did now. So there we go, 281. People forget, and I don't blame you. You're doing so many things. You turn on the stream, you start doing whatever you're doing, start setting up, and the last thing you're thinking about is, go hit the like button, right? But so just reminding you, gentle reminder, if you haven't done so, I appreciate it. See what PLTR does for us here. The more likes you hit, the higher this goes. So if you want to help me out, hit the like, and it's going to help PLTR go higher. Those things are connected for sure. So help my trade go higher by hitting the likes.
Yeah, I think
what's going on in the chat? I can't hear what the chat did.
Position in the market here.
Yeah. PLTR. See what people are trading this morning. Thor is covering for Andrew in chat. Friends, if you want to see our premium trading, you could definitely head over to our chat room, bearwithtraders.com. You can see all the action there. Got Thor, you got Brian, and trade goes on there all day long. So you could definitely take a look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can
all day.
You can see Peter. You can see Peter taking his actual trades that he does all the time, which are throughout the day. You can see that.
Yeah.
Although today he's trading like a pro here at the open, which normally you don't do. So this is good, man. This is really good.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna turn over a new leaf here. We'll see what happens. I'm worried about getting stopped out on Nvidia, but it'll be what it'll be, right?
yeah. You got a nice drop on this thing, man. Originally,
no, I got no complaints. It was a good trade. I've made some money. If I can make more, great. If not, then so be it. I just get stopped out.
Yeah. We'll set up a Go Trade Me account so you can go higher. There's not enough money, man, to move this market. I've been in positions. I'm just like, what am I doing? Like the size has been just through everything, like 100% of the buying power. Like it's just ridiculous. You can't move this stuff, man. Unless you're a low flow trader, you just can't. You could spend millions trying to move a stock in your direction. It's just not gonna work, man. Well, maybe not millions, but yeah.
No. You do. I mean, it's not as easy as people think to make a stock move in your direction.
Yeah.
Not only do you need the money, but you also need the strategy, right? Like it's not just about throwing one or two big orders. You need sustained buying or selling to start something moving, right? Because you need others to join you. That's the whole point. If nobody else joins you, then you're just trading against yourself, and you can't make money trading against yourself. So
this is one of those trades here on POTR is going to make me wait. Like if this works out, it's going to be one of those trades that's going to go on for a bit, or not. We'll see. But it has that feel like this is going to take a while to develop. There's just volume keeps dying down. There's no short-term direction right now on a lot of these tickers. So we'll see.
I got the same thing on Nvidia. Like we're right back to where I added into this trade, and it's clearly faltered here, both for some strength to go higher and the ability to drop lower. I don't like the fact that so many of these little candles, I've given Nvidia on a 1 minute, all of these candles all sort of stopping at that 108.50 level. It's like very flat bottomed. That's not good.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Like you said, sometimes, Carlos, you just got to, hey, look, the premise on which we entered these trades hasn't changed. So at this point, I don't know. Like it's not the odds I would like for a great trade set up because, obviously you'd like it to move in your direction very quickly the second you make that entry decision, but it hasn't done anything wrong either. So you just have to wait it out.
Yeah. Dave is asking, serious question, does the index move the stock or does the stock move the index? Kind of like the chicken and the egg, right? So no, the stocks move the index now, right? So remember the index are an underline of what the stocks are doing, right? So that's it right there, right? And even ETFs as well. Now what could happen is it could be a domino effect, right? Let's say you see a little bit of weakness on the SPY and people are looking at it and getting a certain type of sentiment, then that small move up or down can then say, oh, I want to join that, and then people can go long on the stock and then create the momentum higher, right? So technically no, but psychological wise, yes. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, technically, right, the index doesn't exist. It is made up of the underlying
Yeah.
stocks. So
Right.
it
Right.
only moves as the stocks move. That being said, it doesn't mean the thing that you are trading is the part of the index that is causing the movement, right? The whole point
That
is
too.
that any
Yeah.
index is made up of a number of different elements, and it could be different elements than what you're trading that's causing the move. So your individual stock might be following the index overall, but it's also part of the bigger picture, if that makes sense. So. All right, I'm feeling a little more encouraged now. NVIDIA finally broken that level to the downside, which is what I want. Fortunately, it's not what Carlos wants.
Yeah, not what I want at all. 1260, I'll be out of this trade. Um, Sam said he thought I did. Oh man, no, maybe
I'm getting
Andrew,
the move
not me.
back down to the lows here. I'm seeing a lot of orders at 108 on NVIDIA, so that's great. I'm already making money on my ad, so let's see if we can see, move my stop down here a little bit.
All right, 1260 guys. I'll stop out of POTR. And yes, Peter is short in NVIDIA, looking for low of the day here. 107.86 will be awesome, or lower. But you did have an ad on this, Peter, so this is good. Like right here.
Did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Nice.
So let me just bring it back over here for you guys. Hold on a sec.
Okay. I am out of my trade. All right, man. This is it for me. I am not in sync with the market at all today. At all.
So you guys can see. So I had the first stop out again, just for anybody that just joined, and then oh, are you showing my screen there, Carlos?
Oh, sorry. Hold on. You have it up? Okay. Yep.
Yeah. You can see where so my initial trade went short here just above VWAP. You can see how I partialed all the way down. And notice I've done not much. I haven't taken any partials for a while. I added in here thinking that we were going to drop. It pulled back up. My stop, I moved my stop here to a little bit lower. This may be aggressive. My actual break even is up at VWAP. But I was hoping we were going to get a break to low of day. So we'll see if we do. Maybe I'll move my stop up here. 108.77. How about that? Anyways, and yeah, that's it. I'm just sitting waiting, right? It's either going to move down lower. I could have potentially taken a partial. I was hoping that we get back through at least 108 before I took any partials. So maybe that was me being a little greedy, but I think there's a good chance that we're going to get there. It's tough to tell. NVIDIA, like we were talking earlier this morning, has a lot of support. So this thing has the ability to just jump higher based on individuals supporting it and moving it higher. All the fans out there, especially with the market. The market, I noticed, met the low of day that it had set at 10. It's bouncing here now. Yeah, maybe we're setting up for a bounce here. Anyways, whatever happens, I'm just in for the ride at this point. Again, trade has done nothing wrong in this whole range. If I take a bigger picture, right, let's move back and take a look at it. This whole oscillation range, it's just moving in a range. And, I can't predict which way it's going to go. So I just have to sit and wait. I'm in a good position. I'm in a no risk position on this trade. So if it comes back up and stops me out, maybe I should move my stop up to break even. I don't know. Anyways, I'll keep actively watching it. We'll wait and see what happens.
Yep. All right. Brian should be joining us here any minute now over on YouTube. Oh, you are here. Oh, Brian, welcome, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, let me send the volume over to the chat, and we can get this all rocking and rolling. So welcome, Brian. And I think Lenny's going to join you for the next couple of minutes as well.
Okay. Cool.
I'm just text him now and set him up. Okay, so he's going to join you. Cool, man.
All right.
All right, guys. So let's wrap it up here again. Peter, nice trade on NVIDIA. I'm 0 for 3
Thanks.
today, man. I am just nothing is working for me today. So it's okay. That happens.
It's really choppy.
Oh my goodness. And then some of the ones that I actually called out that were good, I wasn't fast enough to pull the trigger. So got to take account for that too, man. I called some really good trades and just didn't pull them. So yep. that'll be it for me unless I see something really, really clean and golden this morning. So, um, how about you, Brian? How's your day so far?
It was okay. I mean, it wasn't a great day. I mean, I caught a few moves. So basically, I caught a move, did a partial, and then it went price went the other direction, stopped out at break even. So that was basically a couple trades, one on Nvidia that was like that, and one on Tesla that was like that. So fortunately, my partials got me my profits. But yeah, a bit of a roller coaster day today. It's just up and down and up and down. It's just yeah, and a bit unpredictable. So Carlos, I'm not surprised you struggled a bit
Yeah, yeah,
because I kind of feel like it's been that kind of a day. So
yep. Has not
it's
been easy. We've been getting spoiled. I've been telling people this market is getting us spoiled, man.
yeah.
We've been doing really, really good, but once in a while you have these days. So
Yeah, I kind of thought, it looked like Nvidia was going to break out there. I kind of looked like it was heading to 300, basically it was a bit of a false breakout. And we were coming
I mean,
back,
Tesla.
spies coming
you mean
back up to the
Nvidia
VWAP.
300? You mean
Yeah,
Tesla?
no,
Tesla.
was looking at Tesla.
Okay, yeah.
It was right around 950. It kind of started to break out. That was a typical fake out move there that we got today.
Mm-hmm.
I did a few trades on SPX, two trades on SPX. Options, those are always a little scary, but just got to make sure you're catching the direction right. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely not hasn't developed into a trend day yet for sure. So um, yeah. Hey, good morning, Lenny. We can see
All
your
right.
face
Lenny's
there.
on deck.
Hey Brian, hey Carlos. How you guys doing?
Hey,
He's
good
looking
man, good.
very serious.
Awesome, awesome.
I think he was texting me. He's letting me know he's on. We got him on
Yeah.
here. All right, guys,
Okay.
we're gonna hop off. Me and then Peter will let you guys to it. Peter, great trading today, man, and I will see you guys
Thanks.
in chat.
All right,
What
take
did
care, everybody.
what
Trade
did
smart.
What did Peter
Nvidia.
trade?
I've got
Oh,
a couple
okay.
of trades on Nvidia here, so I'm short Nvidia right
Nice.
now because I got short just above VWAP, so I'm just hanging on here, seeing what's going to happen.
Okay.
And yeah,
Right on.
all
Well,
right,
Hey
we'll
Brian,
take care,
back.
guys.
thank
Thanks.
you.
All right. Well, how was everyone's day on YouTube? Wasn't an easy day to trade.
This was not an easy day indeed. This was not. I did not
Yeah.
take any trades. I did not take not even one trade. I had a huge watch list, many things happening. Second day plays for Google, Intel, and everything seemed to trade a little bit different in the pre-market, but in the end, it was not an easy day. Nothing really
No.
showed a setup. So curious to
Yeah.
hear indeed what.
Google. I know Brendan was trading Google. It got down to 160, I think it was. 162.
Yeah,
It went
yeah.
to a low of day. It's red. Tesla. I still think Tesla probably gets back to 300 by the end of the week.
What a strength in Tesla, right? Last Friday,
Yeah.
it was the star of last Friday.
The
I thought,
LTR basically is flat today.
yeah, PLT also very strong last 3 days. Last 2 days closing candle at the high. Last Wednesday it was already green, holding above the range on the daily chart. While the SPY had a red day last Friday, so yeah, PLT had a lot of strength. But perhaps it's like time for some pullback now, right? Also in the market. Look, we had 4 strong days in the SPY, 4 days with 1% or more gap move up, and it's normal, right, to have like a more sluggish price action today. I'd say.
As I mentioned last Friday, I was going to take a long on Intel, so I'm for a swing trade. So it's up nicely today.
Oh, nice. You took it long. Yeah, they gapped down on the earnings, right?
Yeah, it
Last.
kind of gapped down and then but it came back up there. So kind of got back to an area I was looking for a gap fill at 21, and we got that. So I took some profits there.
Oh, very nice. You could also see like Intel, the first basically 10 minutes, 12 minutes, how strong it held compared to the rest. Everything else was
Yeah, I
going
know,
down,
eh?
spying cues. But if you look at Intel on the 2 minute chart, it looked really strong. Third 2 minute candle, Intel bigger in size and bigger in volume than the second candle. If you see Intel on the, I have my screen shared, not sure if you can see it. And then you see like the low volume pullback in candle 4 and candle 5 on the 2 minute chart. I think if there was a setup to trade today, it was Intel, at least for my style of trading.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah, that was a nice breakout. I know you like those ORBs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I really didn't expect it to fill the gap that fast, but I'll take it.
Very nice. Yeah, now YouTube can
Starlink is up. I don't know. Kennedy two winners, one loss. Well, as long as your loss was small and your winners were decent size. George, you got three winning and one loss. That's not bad for today.
What did you trade at Kennedy? What were your winners? What was your losing trade?
Yeah, I really think that yeah, the market's kind of where if you looked at if you were checked out my video on the weekend, I was pointing out that my swing trade video I was pointing out a lot of these indexes are right at some a key level of prior support, which has now become resistance. So this sort of 551 area on the SPY is 550 area is sort of an area of prior support
Yeah.
where we did a lot of consolidation, sort of 551 to 555. So if we're going to break into that range and trade, we're going to probably end up trading in that back in that range for a while. So definitely had a nice comeback last week with the in the markets, but like I said,
Yes.
sort of bumping up against some this area of resistance.
Yeah, and I think if we take a look at the all-time high in the SPY and like the low year to date, right? So the low of the bottom, early April, I think we already recovered quite some. We already made like quite a pullback
Yeah.
ever since. So it's normal to slow down a little bit.
So yeah, totally. We're trying to decide whether we want to push higher. Still lots of there's still lots of headline risk too. Um, we never
Yeah.
know what's going to happen next year. There's going to be some positive announcements on for some deals on some tariffs with some
Yeah.
countries. I mean, if we
I
start
think that
getting some announcements with that, about that, then we'll probably be a bit of a catalyst to move us up here.
Yeah, I think if you can expect headlines this week, it will be about progress on deals. I really feel like that the of in the US administration that they're really calming down a little bit with the headlines because I think everybody's happy with the stability, with the lowering uncertainty. So I think
Yeah,
the rhetoric goes a little bit down, less less aggressive stance.
yeah,
So I think will be more tariff deal based headlines this week.
yeah.
That would indeed be
All
like a
right.
positive tip.
Anybody have any questions on YouTube?
You can
I'm
ask
not
us anything.
sure. what time is it? What time is it? I know it's kind of weird time, and hey, I'm just gonna ask here. Hey Siri, what time is it in Shanghai?
Mhm.
It's 10:45 p.m. in Shanghai, China.
Okay, there you go. Andrew's maybe going to bed. Who knows? All right, we're starting to break out here a bit on the SPY.
Yes. I think it's already quite a strong signal in the SPY that we're actually holding above the previous day close, right? I expected perhaps today like a little bit of a
Yeah,
pullback candle after 4 strong days. But the fact that we're holding it like at previous day close, a little bit hovering above it, I think it's really like a subtle clue of some strength.
I think yeah, we're right at a prior high here, back around 1020. So we might have some resistance getting through here, but looks like we want to push higher.
Yeah. Sometimes the absence of weakness is also a subtle clue of strength, you know? So we get some questions. Brian, do you ever play earnings with calls puts? Somebody ask you.
I don't. I don't like to play earnings. I find them just really sort of. It's really hard to game earnings. It feels like gambling to me. I mean, obviously, with my long-term positions, I don't swing in and out of them, but I don't like to do swing trades with for on earnings because I find it's just so unpredictable. You can have a good, even if you knew what the earnings were. Um, all they have to do is give some kind of bad guidance or something. If you're thinking it had good earnings, but bad guidance will drag a stock down. So it feels a little like gambling. So, I mean, I would rarely trade earnings using options. If you were gonna trade an earnings report, if I was gonna trade an earnings report, I would most likely use options because at the very least you can define your risk. Um, you can use spreads, put spreads, call spreads, um, butterflies or whatever. You can, yeah, you can use those, and then how much you're going to lose if you're wrong. So, um, yeah, I prefer to play earnings kind of after the earnings. Like I was looking at Netflix. Netflix looks real toppy here, around 1100. It's had a really good earnings report. Um, Came out with some great numbers. It's been running up, but now it looks like it's kind of running out of steam here. So this is where I
What a
might,
right?
play. This is how I could play earnings. Sell some 1100, um, sell some 1100 calls, and then maybe buy some 1120, or yeah, buy some 1120 calls to cover them.
Yeah.
The good thing
Okay.
about trading after earnings is there's no surprises. Generally speaking, I mean all the laundry gets bared, and you don't expect another sort of blockbuster type of event or news release or something after earnings, because usually it's everything gets put out on the table there.
Okay. So
So
basically you don't like to trade it through the earnings, but you like to trade like your strategies after earning got released, and you've seen like how the price action initially responds to the earnings, right? How it
yeah,
responds to it, and then you
yeah.
could initiate the position.
Then you can do some. Oh, interesting. Tesla's gone red on the day. That's kind of interesting. So yeah, in a nutshell, I mean, I find trading earnings is a bit of a gamble. I mean, if you're right, you can make a lot. If you're wrong, you can lose a lot. And learned by painful experiences that I just as soon not take the risk. Just um, but yeah, like I said, if I was going to trade earnings, I definitely would define my risk with by using options.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tesla's rolling over here. There's a big order at 280 sitting there. I think we might be going there. 280. S3 is 277.60. We're at the low of day on Tesla, so it's not a good place to chase it here. Well, we just got a drop on the SPY again. Another one of these random just sells. Nvidia at low, sort of down again.
Yeah, interesting about Nvidia. It already started like the first 5-6 minutes. It was definitely a little bit weaker than the rest. If you
Yeah.
basically look at the first 12 minutes, but it still had like a lot of correlation with the Qs. But it was a bit weaker than the rest. They also have
Yeah,
a
I think
catalyst, right?
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, all the semis are a little bit soft today. They're all in the red. Nvidia, AMD, MU, all in the red, just because we've got that. We had that
Big
announcement
news.
from Huawei. That came out of China. They were saying they're testing their new chip that's supposedly competitive with Nvidia's H100s. So
Yes.
all
Yeah.
right, let's see what Tesla does here. Maybe a trade here. Maybe a short trade here.
It's interesting, like how
It's
the last how the seller was an increasing size of the candles, increasing volume, right? Like if you look at 1040, 1047 to 1040, 53 minutes, increasing size of the candle, increasing volume, and now like perhaps like the bullish engulfing sandwich, right? And then at the low of the day. Would you consider here perhaps taking an entry?
um I might have wasn't really it popped back up, which is why I said don't chase it here. But it still looks like it might go to 180 or 280, I should say. Again, Tesla can be tricky because sometimes quite often Tesla will do like a fake breakdown and then snap right back up. But just looking at the markets right now, the SPY and the Qs, it looks like we're currently selling off. But the way the market's been trading today, we could easily just find a bottom here and just bounce right back, which is kind of what we've been doing. So no, I'm reluctant to take a trade here
Yeah.
because you see what Tesla did here. It did make a new low, and now it's kind of snapping back here.
Yeah. I think also the morning volatility is over, right? Like the best volatility is always like in the
Yeah,
first, I guess, 40 minutes, and then things just get a little bit slower, less predictable, less trustworthy.
yeah, and you can see SPY is right at PDC right now, so we probably will bounce here.
Mhm.
I'd be more inclined to sell Tesla short if we manage to get back to PDC, which we're about a buck away.
All right. So you'd like to see it first go back to the previous day
So
close, and then perhaps with some rejection,
I would
take it
like,
short.
yeah, I'd like to see it get to 285
Mhm. Yeah, I
or
think it's
just
also
just shy of that maybe. It may not get there. We may sell off some more here. See, we're bouncing on the SPY, which is exactly what I thought we would do right off PDC. Wow, PLTR is at low of day. Nvidia back at low of day.
yeah. I think it's also always feels just better, right, to get in after a pullback instead of getting in at the low of the day. If you get in after a pullback, the risk to
Yeah,
reward is so much better after you already can partial at the low of the day.
Yeah, we really don't have any other. I don't think we have any other news today that's scheduled to come out. We had the Fed manufacturing, I think, at 10:30. A bit of a reaction at that point, but that's kind of it for the rest of the trading day, I believe.
Yeah, it's like waiting, right, for the rest of. I think it's gonna be a very interesting trading week. A lot of big names are
Yeah,
reporting.
yeah,
Microsoft,
we do
Amazon,
have.
Apple, SoFi tomorrow morning as well. Looking forward to SoFi. Starbucks reporting. And I think today, tomorrow might just be like sluggish, like after strong days up,
Yeah,
calming
we
down a
do
little bit.
have. Yeah, we've got NXPI, which is a semi. They're reporting after the close today. Yeah, look at Tesla selling off now. Didn't quite get to the area where I wanted to short
Yeah.
it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I believe it rejected there the pre-market low, I believe. Yes, it was the pre-market low, and then right, you wanted to see like a retest of the previous day close, but it rejected already at the pre-market low at around 284. And then it's the sell-off continuing. Yeah, so I think market is waiting, right, for more information this week. Looking a bit at each other.
Mm. Okay, yeah, look at that. Wow. PLTR lost new low of day. Same with Nvidia.
Yes, Nvidia now the low of the day.
Again, SPY holding above PDC right now. Qs in the red.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right on. Yeah, DEF. Yeah, no news is good news.
Yeah. Unless it's of course a big tariff deal that is getting made. That is
Yeah.
made. I just
Well, we're
wonder if
still getting still selling.
definitely. I wonder, like let's say like suddenly like I don't really expect it, like in the short term, but like let's say suddenly there's going to be like a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine out of nowhere. I wonder if the markets would respond to it,
Mm,
right? Because the market's already seeing it happening. I mean, like perhaps like
yeah.
the market participants are already positioning towards a potential peace deal. So I would be curious to see what would be the response and if there's any response to it. I don't think it will be a buy the rumor, sell the news event type of thing, but let's.
Partial Nvidia. Nice short on that. I'm assuming you're shorting there, Mr. Donnelly. All
Nice,
right.
yes, short, very nice.
Good sticking with that one. Yeah, markets are cooperating. For looks like we're heading back to low of day on the Qs.
Yeah, in the
I
end,
think we're going to 280 on. I honestly think we are going to get to 280 on Tesla unless we get a rally back in the markets here. That 280 area looks interesting. All right, I'm going to grab some breakfast, guys, and yeah, I hope everyone managed to stay green on this choppy day. We had some good moves at the open they could take advantage of, but after that, it's been pretty much a chop fest. So Watch, mark some ranges on your charts. I think that's kind of the thing you need to do right now. Mark some ranges on your charts. The SPY looks like about 551.80. I mean, if we can break out of that area to the upside, could be heading back to high of day, which would be like 553 and change. Do the same thing on the Qs and just see when we break out of these ranges if you're going to stick around. Otherwise, don't keep chasing things because you're just going to get chopped up. All right, Lenny, have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Same for you.
And
Same.
yeah, and we will be doing just for everyone, so everyone knows, we will be doing coverage on YouTube for the earnings reports that are coming up this week. We'll be doing one Wednesday for Microsoft and Meta, and on Thursday we'll be doing same thing again. We've got Apple and Amazon, so some big earnings numbers on these the Mag 7 coming out this week. So it should be an interesting week. So all right, we'll catch y'all later. Thanks. Cheers, Len.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Awesome. So hey guys, so my name is Lenny. I'm standing in this hour for Paris, who's still traveling. So I think it's a last day where I'll be standing in for him. I think tomorrow everything is back to usual, even though I'll be doing the pre-market show from May 1st for 1 week. So there we will be more in touch, right? We will do the pre-market preparation together. It's going to be a lot of fun. Already looking forward. Yeah, so let's discuss today my watch list. Let's discuss today my take on the markets and my expectation for this week. So my name is Lenny, senior trader for P Capital Trading. Please send me all your questions in the chat here. I got my phone here and I can see the questions that you guys ask. So let's discuss today, like the state of the market, the price action, SPY Qs. Let's take a look at my watch list that I had today. And I'm here for your questions. So somebody asked already a bit earlier, what do we think about SoFi? And SoFi, they're reporting earnings tomorrow. I already noted a little bit relative strong last couple of days. It's also because it's a growth stock, right? And you see that the growth stocks, they are getting hurt more when there's in times of fear, uncertainty, but like in times of in strong momentum times, they're actually also going faster up, right? Same with PLTR. It's already on the daily chart. Okay, I'll be sharing it here. You see in SoFi already like a little bit more of a steeper move up. That's what I noticed in SoFi this morning. And of course, we are heading into the earnings tomorrow. Also same with PLTR. I had also PLTR on my watch list. See PLTR really strong. Actually, seem to be even like going up to the previous all-time high. Right? PLTR it already showed strong last Wednesday, where the market was actually being weak. Printed a red candle, but PLTR held above the daily range, and then we moved up strong days. So that's like my take on SoFi. And today, I don't think it traded really well. Look, it looks basically like, if you ask me for my style of trading, it looks a bit like a mess. Not even a bit. I think it looks quite like a mess the first 7-8 minutes. Yes, we see some kind of a strong price action for 941, but that also got just fueled by the price action in the Qs, right? The Qs broke out, and that could have just caused this move up in the SoFi. So another question, will my Tesla short work, is your question at the moment. Yeah, Tesla, it was definitely pretty high in my watch this morning. Did a huge strong day last Friday. So they reported earnings Wednesday after the market close, if I remember correctly. Tuesday after the market close. Very bad earnings, but yeah, you can really see it's no longer about the electrical car vehicles in Tesla. It's more about the future, right? The robotics, robot taxis, and also like the robot. And yeah, a strong day last Friday, right? And I also think that shows that the strong sentiment is back, right? Because if markets are really jumping in hope for the future, right? That's usually not happening in a very weak market, right? More an optimistic, positive market. The market is investing in hope for the future. Yeah, but now I can imagine that. I think Tesla is, of course, an often discussed stock online. A lot of opinions on it. Honestly, I'm not at this point not too opinionated. I don't have a very strong opinion on Tesla. I think it held pretty strong here. If you look at the daily chart, it looked pretty strong here. Every time the market was relatively weak, but Tesla seemed to hold here. Each time got bought up, and I'm just observing with my eyes very wide open everything that's happening in Tesla. Right? I just observed that the negative earnings didn't impact too much. I think also the market already expected the bad earnings, and yeah, my hypothesis or my assumption that a lot of things in Tesla are based like on future promises, on the promising future that already got confirmed in the last couple of days. So I don't have too much of a strong opinion on it. I'm also have to say I'm not invested in Tesla, and actually that's also in line, right, with the fact that I don't have a hard opinion on it. I think it's important, could be something to consider, right? If somebody has a very strong opinion about something but is not financially actually invested in it, then it's always the question, okay, what is the opinion worth? So yeah, Tesla, I had it on definitely on my watch list, right? It showed it had this huge strong day last Friday. Pre-market also looked relative strong. We see like the previous day close, we bounced off it. We had the yesterday high. I had like a yellow line here. You can see it on my chart. We bounced off it two times in the pre-market. So that okay, we're really gonna see some more confirmation. We're about to break out this high of the range, because on the daily chart you can see. Sorry, on the daily chart you can see the range. So I thought, okay, are we gonna really see like another strong day in Tesla? I was open for it. It was very prominent on my watch list. But then the market opened, and yeah, the question is, right, and I think it's also a pretty interesting question. If you look at the first 5 minutes, is this now an opening range with some price contraction, right, where the bottoms getting bought up and the tops getting sold off, right, or some price, or is it just ordinary chop? That's the question with huge wicks. I wasn't sure about it. Well, then we see the breakout candle here. Okay, we're holding above that high of the daily range, closing above it. So that, okay, what we're gonna do? And this candle dropped down very steep again. So then I thought, okay, not convinced yet. Then we see like this candle closing above the range. Okay, not convinced yet. Then I thought, okay, if we're now gonna see some perfect strong price action, perhaps. But then we closed again below the range, and I thought, okay, really? Then we saw the steep pullback. I thought, okay, now conviction is gone for me. Then we moved back up. But at that point, the SPY and Qs were really breaking out, right? You can see the SPY breaking out, Qs breaking out. And I thought, nah, if Tesla giving me that, it's not being not convincing to me. And it's also not being stronger than the rest. And then it's also like it would be like a day after, like already like a huge strong day. I thought, okay, I'm not going to trade it anymore. Then we see on the way up, we see the decreasing size of the candles. So, okay, not going to do that. And then it sold off with the rest of the market. And then now it's actually turning around, right? You see the daily chart. Actually, it's also selling off with the market, but it's showing a turnaround. Interesting here, as discussed, that we see The last 3 candles here, increasing size of the candles, increasing volume. Okay, that looks pretty weak. Still, it's not really. Question is how reliable is it, right? Later on the day, and also with the market correlation. Here you see the bullish engulfing sandwich. Okay. Okay, and then we retest the pre-market low, and actually we made the move down. So somebody asked, Big, if the Tesla short will work, and that question got answered, right? I'm not sure if you got at your target already. So you say Big wrestler, based on their cars alone, I'd say Tesla's overvalued. Yes, that's I think is a very extremely strong stock if you compare extremely expensive stock based on the current earnings. But I think Tesla is the price is more based on future potential. So somebody asked, what is my take on Intel? Yeah, Intel is an interesting story, right? So they really get beaten up last couple of years, actually, right? You see the weekly chart. See the weekly chart got really beaten up since 2024. Yeah, what I understood about it, it's not really I'm not too skilled in it, but like what's happening there, many of these chip manufacturers, they went from like developing the chips, but not really building them, right? Because the building process is very, very, very complicated, apparently. But Intel thought, hey, you know what? We're gonna do actually both. We're gonna develop the chips, and we're gonna also invest in like building our own chips, right? Like really like the manufacturing. I mean, and that didn't turn out to go very well. That did not work out very well, as you can see also on the daily chart. And so now there's a new CEO, and he tries to turn things around. And we had the earnings call 2 days ago, Thursday in the post market, and he said, okay, well, earnings are not that bad, but we're going to see some turmoil in the upcoming time because we're going to turn around things, right? For example, Intel has way more employees than NVIDIA and AMD combined. That's also something, right? And they're invested. They were building big factories in the United States, also with this Chip Act, I think was started under Biden, where he was subsidizing companies in chip companies to bring their production to the United States. So yeah, the question is, will they turn it around? So that the earnings then they gap down. And yeah, today in the pre-market, it had actually a lot of volume, 7 million shares traded. Not sure why it was, because the pre-market didn't look that great. But if there was a setup today for my style of trading, I did not take any trades. We're gonna run through all my stocks on the watches today. If there was any stock on that I could have traded, it was Intel actually. But yeah, the 1 minute chart. I was looking at the 1 minute chart and I thought, okay, yes, it's holding very strong compared with the SPY and Qs. It had like second day play, right? So it could have been a second day after the earnings. It had volume in the pre-market, so that it ticked these boxes. Then it showed a lot of relative strength because you can see the SPY and Qs were actually, SPY was sideways below the open price and the Qs were actually being weak. But Intel held strong. But I think the issue was that the mistake that I made was I didn't switch quick enough to the 2 minute chart, because if I would look at the 2 minute chart, this would have looked way better than a 1 minute chart, right? Because the question in Intel on the 1 minute chart is, was it just ordinary chop or was it just actually looking strong? But the 2 minute chart is a bit more clean. I think it's significantly more clean. First candle closing above the pre-market high. Second candle is not the best, even though still firm volume. Third candle bigger in size than the second candle, increasing volume. And then fifth candle, fourth 2 minute candle, inside candle, fifth candle, engulfing candle, forming together like the bullish engulfing sandwich, low volume. On a 2-minute chart, considering that it was a second day play, considering there was high volume in the pre-market, considering we had a lot of relative market strength intraday, considering this price action on 2-minute chart, I think an entry at the close here of this candle, or like when the candle number 6 made a red to green move, would actually been great. And then actually Intel showed more interesting price action. If you find it interesting, we can take a look at it. Because then what happened, and here we're going to see where I actually could have taken a second potentially entry, but it was here on Intel. So here we see the breakout, right? But this breakout is actually a very strong breakout. Why? First candle, of course, big candle closing above at high volume. That's strong. The second candle of the breakout here was smaller, so that's not strong. But then we see the candle afterwards increasing in size, and the candle afterwards also increasing in size, right? So these 4 candles together of the breakout were actually very strong. Also like closing this candle, last 2 candles of the breakout, closing at more than 80% of the candle, closing at the high basically. So this looks actually very, very strong. At that point, there was also enough room on the ATR left. ATR is $1.40. Price actually moved just 70 cents. So I was trading with my mentees, trading everyday life. I told them there could perhaps be an entry now at the close here, but I was a little bit hesitant, and then perhaps put the stop loss below the price action, where the price action bounced from 2 times. So I didn't take it, and then we moved up further. Then we actually see a relative clean pullback, right? You can put the trend line on both sides, also decreasing volume on the way down. Also caused by the market sell-off, right? We see the slowing down. And here we see an engulfing candle. Bam. Again, a sign of strength. Then we saw the rejection because the market at that point was selling off. But what do we see on the pullback? Again, decreasing size of the candles, decreasing volume, right? So really slowing down. But at this point, it's too late for me to trade. But then we see like some more strength. And right, we see the further breakout. So in both cases, there could have been a profit, right? If I would have entered here, stop loss below it, and also like on the 2-minute chart, the early entry. So I think Intel, it showed interesting price action. I don't really like to trade Intel, to be honest. But yeah, it's interesting that 2 times on these pullbacks, you see the slowing down, low volume, followed by engulfing candles. And of course, everything else considered. So there's a discussion right now in the chat. No, I don't use gamma or GEX levels in my trading, to answer your question, Verdi. So another question by Jace. You mentioned having many stocks on your watch list, but you didn't trade them. Why was it? Well, because they didn't turn out to be great looking price action. And we're going to run through my watch list in a bit, all right? We're going to go through all of them. And we can discuss like why I did not take a trade. So NEO will gain more of the market also. Yeah, I also looked at NEO. It's pretty interesting, right? They came down so much. The CEO says that he is confident that this year they will be breaking even for the first time. So then you would wonder, like, could it be a decent risk to reward? You see how much it came down on the daily chart, but I'm not really familiar with this industry. But you see at the high, I think 2020 was at $60, $70 and now trading at $4. So who knows, we're going to see some fireworks later on this year if they hold on to their promise of breaking even. And of course, there are also many, many other factors involved. So your question, Mohammed, can you explain what you're looking forward in this market now? Meaning next trade setup. Yeah, so I'm an opening range break trader. Okay, I trade the momentum in the first 30 minutes directly after the market open. So I'm looking. Wow, this is by the way a strong breakout move in Neo this morning. Holy smokes. But so where I'm looking for, I trade the first 30 minutes after the market open. I'm looking for stocks in play with volume that are trading different in the pre-market. And then when the market opens, I'm looking for strength or weakness in the price action, but also compared with the rest of the market and with volume. And then I'm looking for the 1 minute ORB, the 2 minute ORB, 5 minute ORB, 50 minute ORB. Sometimes also trade within the first 1 minute if there's a late pre-market pattern. And when I consider I'm using the daily chart for information, I'm using the pre-market, I'm using the late pre-market for information, and of course, candle for candle reading. And I think that's also interesting, right? I told this morning to my mentees, I think it's better to not focus too much on one trading session, because sometimes there's not a perfect setup, not a clean enough setup every day. But if you if you contain it in 5 different trading sessions, each week has 5 trading sessions, right? 5 pre-market opens from 30 minutes. If you consider just 1 week, 1 session, I think that would perhaps lower the fear of missing out, because every day it's not given that every day they're going to be a perfect setup, but I can guarantee, based on my experience, that at least every week there are going to be a few perfect setups, perfect 5-minute ORBs, 3-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute ORBs. So I think it's better to, from a psychological point of view, to extend the session from one pre-market open to actually 5 sub-sessions of 5 pre-market opens in a period of a week, right? That lowers the fear of missing out. In that case, I really don't care. I didn't try to take any trade today. I could have perhaps taken Intel, but I didn't take any trade, and that's fine. I'm sure tomorrow or the day afterwards or Thursday, there are going to be a few perfect setups, right? And it's about being there when the setup occurs. So what are other questions? So that I hope that answers your questions a bit. And you can also follow me on X or follow me on Twitter for daily updates. It's Trading W Lenny. So yeah, you say that's good self-control. That's true, but I think that's absolutely necessary in trading. You need to have that self-control, and you need to also find ways actually to help yourself having self-control, right? You should improve your process in a way that will help you having self-control, right? Because self-control is also just a consequence of our processes. It's not just something magical that comes out of nowhere. It's something that could be designed in our processes. And I think one of the ways to do it is actually to look at it to look at the price action in multiple days and not just at one day. Hey, I see Tesla is now really selling off. This is, of course, a trend. So let me take a look if there's on X or Twitter, if there's any new headlines, new information. So let me take a look. No, perhaps there is, but I cannot find it something clearly on my feed. But yeah, Spike Q turning red for the day, which I think is perfectly healthy, right? After 4 strong days. I'm not sure if there's any news that triggered it. With Tesla minus 3.3%. It's a very volatile sell-off, even though like on the daily chart, it's also just healthy, right? We see if you look at the size of the move of the last 2 candles, Friday and Thursday, and then now now 30-40% on the way down. But of course, this looks like there's a sell-off happening, right? And I think the beginning was already here, right? Well, Brian was still here. Increasing size of the candles on the way down, increasing volume on the way down, followed by a bullish engulfing sandwich. This bullish candle getting completely overtaken. And then there was the move back to the pre-market low and also like the previous low of the day here at 10 a.m. and we rejected here. Not my style of trading to trade that it's late on the day, but this is like some ways to read the price action. Also, Brian was had some bearish hypothesis on Tesla. So what's your recommended website for latest market news? I think you have FinFist, Twitter. There are a few Twitter channels that are interesting. You could also use AI, ask ChatGPT for certain information. I think it's also right. You should try to build like a process around it, so that you can every day have the same process of getting up to date. And at a certain point, it doesn't take any energy anymore. So then at a certain point, you have your process is set up in a way that it doesn't take any energy anymore because it's just completely, it's in your habits, but at the same time, you're up to date, and then you can use it to apply it to what you see in the price action. Really also a fresh sell-off. That is very nice for Peter, who was short. QQ's also freshly selling up further. Start to wonder if there was no headline that came out. Let me check a little bit further. Yeah, apparently this is big power cut in Spain, Portugal. And apparently they're not able to solve it quickly. Let me see, I cannot find any specific headline. It's all fine, no panic about it. No panic. Okay, so I think we could take a look, go through my watch list. Somebody said IonQ. Was anything happening in these quantum computing stocks this morning? I'm putting a few on my watch list. Then we can scroll through them. So IonQ also, yes, selling off. So quite a nice trend. Could also just be market-based, right? Market fueled. RGTI also with IonQ seems to be the weakest from the quantum computing stocks. All right, let's go through my watch list. I think the people this morning also my watches got announced in the chat room. So let's go through it. So we had the SPY. First of all, we had the SPY, right? SPY looked. So first of all, already we have to start at the beginning. First of all, I expected today to not have to be like an explosive day, right? After, like I would have shared many times today already, strong move up in the last 4 days, 4 days in a row, more than 1% up. Okay, then we probably gonna slow down a little bit. Okay, pre-market actually we saw in the SPY, the late pre-market was actually like a nice clear bull channel up, showed strength. Okay, so I thought, okay, perhaps, who knows, we're gonna see something. Then the first 2 minutes were strong. Then we saw the price action coming down in the SPY. Afterwards, a breakout, and we plummeted again, right? This was basically how the SPY looked like in the pre-market and in the open price. So let's go through my watch list. So Nvidia had this morning, this catalyst, this news event, where Huawei, I'm not sure like how to pronounce it correctly, they announced, or there was the information about their chip that is gonna start the direct competition with some of the advanced chips from Nvidia, right? So Nvidia had the catalyst. Interesting, right? Also, look, Nvidia in the pre-market looked already a little bit weaker than the rest. Then the market opened, and there was definitely weak price action actually in the Nvidia shared. Right, first candle green, second candle completely engulfing, third candle meh, like smaller in size, lowering volume, fourth candle breaking down again, getting bought up again, selling off again. So there was weakness. However, I thought it also correlated a little bit too much with the cues, right? And in my opinion, in my experience, the issue is if you're trading something that's correlated too much with the rest of the market, if the market just turns around, okay, then your own position in the stock is also a little bit in danger. So I try to avoid it. At a certain point, Nvidia rejected the pre-market low and it went down. And I thought, okay, did I miss now something? Because it had a catalyst, but I just wasn't really convinced. And then Nvidia turned around, came back to VWAP. And then, yeah, we see also the market sell off at that point, right? And yeah, I just didn't find any entry, a lot of overlap in the candles. Even though I can imagine if somebody would have taken a short there, definitely. Okay, well, then the market remained a bit weaker, a bit more depressed rest of the day, but I usually trade only the first 30 minutes, 35 minutes, but then Nvidia remained weaker compared with the Qs, and then we saw the sell-off. Right, and that is, so there were definitely some signs of weakness in the pre-market already, and in the opening range, 10 minutes, that's the first 10 minutes, and also a little bit later. But for me, there was just no entry. Then the second one, Tesla. This could have been a beauty today. It's because we had their earnings last week, and then last Friday we were super strong in the pre-market. As discussed earlier, it looked also strong again, right? Because we firmly were trading in the pre-market above the yesterday close, and also we bounced off 2 times of the yesterday high. Yesterday, in this case, Friday, last trading day. But then, and the question is, the first 5 minutes in Tesla, is this just ordinary choppy price action, or was this like some kind of a price contraction, right? Where the price action contracting. I wasn't sure about it. We did a breakout, and a very steep pullback, and I thought, okay, like if it's really strong, then come on, you wouldn't give me such a big deep pullback. Then the candles afterwards were like nothing, no conviction, and at a certain point we're also ranging again, while the SPY and Qs at that point were breaking out, right? You can see the SPY at 941, 42, 43 already breaking out, and Tesla was just moving sideways, so that like, I'm not gonna burn my hands on it on this Monday morning. So then move up, decreasing size of the candles, and we see the sell-off, and there was no trade for me in Tesla. I also had Meta on my watch list. Meta could have also been a second day play because it already moved with Google. So Google reported earnings Thursday in the afternoon. Meta and Google both in the advertising business. Meta moved also last Friday because of their relation in the advertisement with Google, right? Google reported about their revenue, about the margins, and Meta moved with it. Now today in the pre-market, actually Meta looked very strong, right? We see the move up, late pre-market consolidating, but also notes already like in the last couple of minutes, there was already some incoming volatility. I thought that Meta could be okay, but well, bam, market opens, strong first candle, completely engulfing. Third candle, yeah, slowing down, lowering volume. Yeah, it's like, couldn't see anything in it. Then we see like a big move up and then a big drop down. There was no trades for me in Meta. I also had Apple on my watch list. Apple looked also pretty strong. If you look at the pre-market. They were all trading. This is interesting about the market this morning. Everything was trading a little bit different. So it had actually the possibility to be a very great day, even though I think we should consider that, like I said, we had 4 strong days in a row, right? So there could be a little bit of a sluggish day now. But Apple moved up in the pre-market, held above the yesterday close, and also in the late pre-market we stayed strong. Actually, the late pre-market, not we also had some incoming volatility, right? I think if the price action is really strong trending in the pre-market, there should also be no late pre-market volatility, but it's better to have late pre-market stability, right? Stability in a trend is usually, could be considered a sign of strength for the continuation. And then, well, the price action opened and it was just a mess, right, Apple? Look at this job. And the third point, yes, we squeezed up, but it was just because of the SPY and Qs found some strength. But yeah, another stock on my watch is Apple. This was no trade for me. Nothing clean here. Well, in the end, I added HIMS to my watch list because one of the mentees I'm trading live with from the group, he shared that HIMS was really showing a good trend in the pre-market. So I thought, okay, let's put it on the watch list. HIMS gapped up above this daily range. Last couple of days already, it wasn't so strong as the rest of the market. Pre-market, a lot of volume. It showed strength. Okay, thought we're gonna put it on. But then, yeah, first candle red, second, third candle breaking up with like decreasing the volume. Actually, the volume only came in the third minute. Then we see the sell-off, and then just no clean imbalance between buyers and the sellers. So no trade in HIMS either. We've got PLTR. PLTR, interesting story, right? It's showing strength on the daily chart. Friday, Thursday strong. Wednesday also strong compared with the rest. Pre-market looks strong. But yeah, there was no direct catalyst in it. And also, I expect already a bit of a sluggish day today. And then the late pre-market was actually being weak. And then the opening price was weak. So I thought, okay, no trade in PLTR either. Same count for Amazon. Google, I thought, could potentially be like the second day play. But yeah, this is also not too clean, I think, here. Right, strong candle, rejection. Then another candle just basically moving sideways first 3 minutes. Even though you could also perhaps call it the price contraction, breaking down, getting bought up again. Google is usually also not an easy trading stock, but if you see this, not touching it. Also had SoFi on my watch list that, okay, being stronger than the rest of the market last couple of days, was strong in the pre-market. Tomorrow earnings, okay, gonna put it like on a C list. Market opens, just a mess. I don't see a clear imbalance in buyers and sellers here, right? You see like red candle, green candle, wicks, red candle, green candle. MSTR on my watch list. I think Bitcoin has shown really a lot of resilience in the last couple of weeks. MSTR has been strong on the daily chart. I find it a very, very difficult stock to trade. But okay, well, I can give it a potential shot on the watch list, right? Perhaps it shows a super clean 5-minute ORB, but late pre-market also fell down a little bit. We see the pre-market moved up, right? It bounced yesterday, closed, moved up, moved sideways. The market opened, there was a weakness, and I was not planning to short it, right? I couldn't see any reason. There was no clear catalyst. Also a mess. So that was basically for my watch list. So The only stock that actually could have given entry, Intel, was not even on my watch list, but I definitely came through it because I saw all the other stocks were not really doing anything. But if anything, Intel showed the interesting price action, right? On the daily chart, it's a second day play. Daily chart, it's Friday, it gapped down with the earnings, gapped down hard actually. In the pre-market today, we looked okay, strong. There was 7 million shares traded in the pre-market. I could not recognize that in the price action because the price action wasn't that, didn't seem to be volume dense or something. But yeah, then the market obviously showed a lot of strength, right? SPY and Qs were being weak. In Intel, 1 minute, I think like is this choppy or is it really strong? I also don't like Intel too much to trade, but on a 2-minute chart, it looked actually pretty okay. But at that point, I didn't look at the 2-minute chart. First candle closing above the pre-market high. Third candle increasing in size, increasing body, increasing volume. Inside candle, outside candle, or engulfing candle, low volume. Gap to fill, right? Because we gap down. So basically that was it. So there was no trade for me today. But I'm sure we're gonna see perfect 5-minute ORBs later this week. Perfect 2-minute ORBs, perfect continuation setups later this week. So that was my watch list. That was the reason why I didn't take any trade. If somebody to answer that question. If anybody has a certain question about information just shared, just let me know. SPY now coming back up again. And also on the daily chart, nothing significant. If you look at the bottom of today's candle, it's small, seems smaller than yesterday's candle and smaller than the candles before. So just normal volatility, nothing out of the extraordinary. Nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah, so tomorrow in the pre-market SoFi earnings. Will it give a nice setup tomorrow? Let's see. Really looking forward to the Microsoft earnings. Microsoft looks a lot like the rest of the market, right? Even though I think it's also it's been quite resilient since the start of the trade war, but it was already a bit down before. Apple earnings, looking forward also. It's also a bit like the rest of the market, right? Amazon earnings. What a company, right? Amazon. They're in so many different sectors. Also now going to release, trying to compete with Starlink, releasing their own satellites into the space. And of course, they got the AWS, the cloud computing. And they're also, of course, the biggest online store there is. Also in medicine, they also got like their self-driving cars, self-driving project. So I think it's always interesting to the earnings of such a company. Yeah, big wrestler. I agree. SoFi often trades poorly, at least without a stock-specific catalyst. Yes, and even like with a stock-specific catalyst, it also often trades poorly. But sometimes it also have given a very nice setup. That's That's really in my opinion, like one of the keys to understand trading directly after the open. I think the key to fundamental aspect is that usually it trades never good, but you need to be able to develop a process and develop the patience to wait for that perfect setup, right? And you need to know also like how does it actually look like a perfect setup, right? That if you trade, you should know like what do I want to see? I have like a lot of different variations of price action I would like to see it. I would consider very strong or very weak, where I could jump in. And sooner or less, the price action, the stock market in stocks in play will give this kind of price action. But I think the reality is like usually there's just simply nothing to trade. But you want to be sharp there. You want to be ready there, like perhaps 10, 15 times per week. In all these stocks these 10 to 15 times a week, where there is going to be that perfect setup. Perfect 5-minute ORB where the first candle is strong. Second candle, 1 minute chart is stronger than the first candle. Third candle is strong. Even third candle is even pullbacking. Fourth minute is pullback. Fifth minute is pullback, but low volatility, getting bought up from the bottom without being extended, right? And then moving up further. One variation. So same with SoFi. Usually it will trade like absolutely nothing. But once in a while, it will give a very beautiful setup. And then you want to be there. So your question is Peak Capital Bootcamp starting on May 5th, the spring one? Yes, that's correct. That's correct. And I'm also a team leader there. Basically, students are getting divided in a few groups. And with weekly mentor sessions for weekly group mentorship sessions. And my group always has, every week, also a session together. But indeed, like the Peak Capital Bootcamp is starting on May 5th. So only one trade for you today. That's great. Tesla from 1058. That's nice patience. It definitely showed the weakness, right? Then it made the move. Very nice trade. Congratulations. And for me, there's no more trading today. I really like the morning volatility is over. I had my 30 minutes of intellectual puzzle already today. Right. I think really trading is like the most complex puzzle there is out there. A very intellectual puzzle as well, combining a lot of different variables in a very complex world. That's a difference, right, between complex systems and complicated systems. Like a complicated system, complicated things are, for example, things like how an airplane works, right, or how a machine works. It's very complicated, very difficult, but at least like all the variables, they're known, they're steady, they're stable. But in complex systems, all the variables have all kind of interaction effects on each other, right? So something changes and that changed something else and that changed something else, right? And that causes it almost impossible to predict things. For example, the weather is also something, right? You can try to predict the weather, but literally, in theory, if like that's what I call the butterfly effect, if in Brazil, like a butterfly flaps with its wings, it could create like a storm in Japan. Why? Because the weather is like a complex system, right? Like one variable could add another variable, could improve another variable, could improve another variable. And that's also the same with the economy. The economy is also a complex system. You could like pull on one lever and it could influence something, but then it will also influence other things and will influence other things, right? And that makes the difference between complex systems and complicated systems. And that's, I think, what makes trading so very interesting. There's so many variables coming together, and that almost every day is a bit different. And I think also, like, like you can really see like the difference between like, so this tariff war, okay? It started here and in a complex system. And I think that's also like something that made cause that what happened right now. Like, so there was like the very aggressive stance in the first instance in the tariff war, and now we're getting back. Why? Because basically, like, it's a kind of a bluff, right? We're starting with very aggressive tariffs, and then we're slowing down with our demands. However, the issue was in a complex system like the economy, it's hard to predict what will happen. But what happened, the treasury yield kept on increasing, kept on increasing. So lending and borrowing money would be getting more expensive, and that's not good for the economy. So that was a consequence from the tariff war, but it's hard to predict, right? So, and that caused that there need to be some less aggressive rhetoric, and therefore last week we saw the remarks, okay, we're not going to be so aggressive, we're going to turn the tariff down. And that's a difference, right? Like, you can bluff in a complicated system, like in a business situation where all the variables are known, or you can bluff like in a complex system like the economy. And that's way more harder, right? Because things can change in unpredictable ways. And that's, I think, really interesting, the different implications, different consequences of being like in complicated and complex systems. So Amazon, interesting position. Mara still dropping. Yes. So what is the Bitcoin doing right now? Let me check. Don't expect like crazy movement in Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin 94K. I think also MSCI has been very strong like last couple of weeks. You see like now this red candle selling off. It's not really significant if you look at the big move up over here on the daily chart in MSTR. Also something else, like one of my mentees right before the market open said, hey, you should take a look at SWTX. There's a nice gap down, a nice gap up, right? You see like SWTX indeed, like you see a gap down on the daily chart. I never actually heard of this stock, but you see like nice gap up on the daily chart, right? And what do we see in the pre-market? We see actually a relative smooth move up in the pre-market. Why is it smooth? Because you basically don't see any pullbacks. You see the price action smoothly moving up and then from the consolidation. And it was already so smooth that you would think that there's like, that I said straight away, it looks like takeover news, right? Where like some company wants to buy or wants to sell another company or a part of a company or its own company, right? And then you get like this price action as well, because there's an anchor price. Let's say if there's like a takeover news and a stock wants to buy a part or a company or a part of a company or like sell it, there's like a price involved, right? And if there's a price involved, it means there's also an anchor price involved where the price action probably moves around. And I saw this price action and said, okay, it looks like takeover news. And I went to look for the catalyst, and indeed there was takeover news. And then you see also like how ugly it traded after the market opened, just moving sideways, nothing just happening. And that's also like why I think like takeover news is usually, or buyout, etc., is usually not a great catalyst, because then there's an anchor price where the price action has a higher likelihood to trade around. Yeah, so we're also actually nearing the last 5 minutes of the session. Paris will be back tomorrow again. Was a pleasure being with you guys. If you got any question, you can always send me a mail, lenny@pcapitaltrading.com. You can also follow me on Twitter, tradingwlenny, or on X. And yeah, looking forward for the rest of this week. From Thursday on, I'll be doing together with Carlos the pre-market show for 7 days, I believe, from May 1st to May 9. So then we will see each other again. Hopefully. And looking forward to the rest of the week. I think it's interesting. Google had good earnings, right? Google has been quite beat up for the last couple of months because of the fears that their biggest source of revenue, the Google search, is getting disrupted by the LLM models and the ChatGPT, etc. But we showed very good earnings, gapping up and selling off 2 days in a row, right? So market is really still be pretty fearful for Google. Market slow, the sell-off slowed down a bit. Nvidia now in the range. Tesla pulled back, now forming a range. Perhaps it could sell off further. Let's see, perhaps it could bounce. I would not know, to be honest. Use again at the low of the intraday. SPY as well. Let's see what will happen. I don't think there has been really new headlines. All right, guys. I have in 1 minute, 2 minutes, another appointment. So it was my pleasure here being with you guys. Hope you have a great day. And it's going to be an awesome trading week. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.